Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I'm fine, just home from swim after work. All went well. So Jenna just got in a small city in Poland, but she's not in Warsaw yet. So I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should buy her a one-way plane ticket or wait till she gets to the train station and buy her the train ticket, as opposed to buying her a two-way plane. So she says, I'll probably be in Warsaw by 2 o'clock her time. It's like 6 in the morning here. So I can look for like a 5 o'clock flight, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It's an hour and a half to Berlin, but then it's one way because I don't know when she's returning. It's probably stay 2-3 weeks. And I don't know how much a one-way ticket is. So we'll see. But I got to do that or just let her take the train. But I said, last time I paid for the train, you missed it. And then we had to buy another train ticket, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I said, I'm not doing that this time. You get to the train station. And then I've been to the train in France. And you just go to the platform and you buy the thing and then they train you. So I don't get the big deal of getting a train early. I mean, but we'll see. Anyway, I'd already given her money. So she should have money for the train. I can give her more money. She said the FX to get the euro was, she didn't get that much for the U.S. Because I send her U.S. and Ukraine. And I guess they took a lot out of it. So when I send to her in Germany, I said I'll send it in euro so you're sure what you're going to get. And then if it just costs me an extra $10 or $20, well, I'll eat it. As opposed to sending her, let's say 200 and she gets 140. Well, no, I want her to get 200. So I'll do it in euros. And if it costs me 220, 230, then that's fine. Anyway. So I noticed when I'm working, there's a little Microsoft icon you can clip on, to give you the news, the stocks, the sports. And they keep shoving these electric vehicle bullshit on you. Tesla this, electric though, these are great. Oh, look at the record sales. They sold 500 cars. So I did this. So let's see. New Tesla Model S and X trims are cheaper and have a lot less range. So Tesla's cutting their costs because they can't sell it. This all goes back to Say's Law. You're trying to sell something, there's no demand. And then you're trying to sell it with high inflation and high interest rates. And you can't sell very expensive cars now. First of all, nobody wants them. Who wants electric cars? Let's say there is a demand, which I don't see, but let's say there is. You're not going to sell them now with interest rates at 10%, and it's $1,000 a month for a car. Who the fuck's selling that? In the U.S., Tesla said the Model S standard range starts at $80,000 with shipping and has 320 miles of range. The regional Model S is rated 405 models, is now the middle trim. The Model X standard range starts at 90,000. Who the fuck is going to buy an electric car for $90,000? Who the fuck has, what are you, insane? So Tesla can't sell these cars because there's no market for it. Again, we'll go back to Say's Law. Is there a market for electric vehicles and you're trying to sell it and 90,130 with a 269 miles of range. Now that's in the beginning. Just I'm going to get my coffee. My apologies. I just walked in and I wanted to get my coffee now so I'd stay awake. So why are you buying stock in this shit? Or as Warren Buffett just bought millions of shares of GM. The guy's out of his fucking mind. You do not buy car companies when you have a recession, when you have heavy inflation, which means heavy interest rates, because the costs are up. It's not what you buy right now. You don't buy car companies when costs are going up. And it's just such bullshit. Tesla quotes, low 0 to 60, whatever the bullshit. Here's a plaid trim. It starts at 110,000. The Model X standard range at 4.4 seconds to 60, compare with the regular version at 3.8. The Model X plaid goes to 60 and starts at 110,130. Who the fuck's spending 110,000 on an electric car that has 250-mile range now, and then as it starts getting charged, if it doesn't catch on fire and you got to charge it every 12 feet, yeah, I want to pay 110 grand and then get to charge it all the time. I don't think so. I don't know what's wrong with Tesla. I don't know where his brain's at, thinking he can sell this shit. I don't know who's buying it, because why do you want an electric car? Give me one reason. Oh, we're going to save the earth? You ain't going to save the earth. The earth isn't going anywhere. We have a chance for a nuclear war before we have a chance the earth's going to explode because we're using gas. People will believe anything, won't they? So that's what I'm getting. There's no demand for this product. There's no market for this product. The guy's trying to sell it at 110,000. Yeah, I'm going to sell my Canadian Club for 110,000. How many takers? What are you fucking kidding me? I'd be buying a Mantle card for 110 or the Montana or Rice rookie for 110 before I'd be buying an electric car. Needless to say, there ain't nothing wrong with my Camry. I don't know, it just sounds, the logic makes no sense. And the cost and the price doesn't make, that's 110. Now we add a 10% charge because of inflation being high. I was listening to the alligator. He doesn't quite get inflation. He's not really an Austrian economist, because he doesn't get the trade cycle. He says, well, there's a lack of credit, so that's going to push the interest rates up. No, the interest rates are pushed up by the inflation. The money loses value, so you must charge more to get the same amount of money that you're lending. If I'm lending $100,000 to this idiot buying a Tesla, I'm going to charge 20% interest because I'm going to get paid back in inflated dollars worth maybe 70,000. So the interest gets me to 110, which is what I'm going to do if I wasn't smart enough to buy gold with it. All right, so that's what I see. Now, just an FYI, I was stumbling around and I found this, and it's a huge sale at Bath Bed & Beyond. And if you look at these, suitcases, it's $19 fucking dollars. $199 for 19. So I'm going to run the best Bed Bath & Beyond. I have to run tomorrow because I ran to the spool and now class. But there was all sorts of things. There was a sofa for $29. There was bedding, not a bed, but bedding for $19. There was, stainless steel silverware for $10. There was a whole stainless steel pots and pans for $20. There was those plastic things you put the food in and like the Glad. There were like 100 of those for $10. I'm like, what the fuck? This is unbelievable. So this website is www.thedealworks.com and then products. So I'll show you, but I just stumbled on this afternoon. So when you get a chance, you can't beat these deals, especially luggage and stainless steel pots and pans. There was stainless steel silverware, but I already have. And then there's the Glad snap tights. There was like 100 of those for $9. Anyway, huge deals. I'd rather go to Bed Bath & Beyond and buy them there just to make sure, but a lot of good stuff here. So definitely take a look at that. Okay. The next thing is inflation. They keep wanting to call it 3%. It's such a bullshit number. Please don't believe that. How do they calculate inflation? Prices. Year over year. Not counting food and energy. So Oreos are $2 and now $5. Well, that doesn't count. I don't know what they're counting, but when they find something going down like cars, then they want to count that. So if we back up and understand it, why are cars going down? Because they can't sell them because the interest rates are so high. It's $1,000 a month for a Camry. Ain't nobody going to buy it. So they have to lower their price. Does that mean inflation's going down? No way. This is a Madoff. They're doing a Madoff right now. It's like my cousin Vinny, right? Well, they'll show you the brick. Where's the playing card? Well, I can use they'll show you the brick and they'll show you this, but they won't, they'll show you this, but they won't show you the brick like this. That's what the inflation reading is. It ain't 3%, it's 15 to 20. And not only that, you can't measure it by prices year over year. You really measure it based on interest rates. What is the loan cost for a car and a house? What, 8, 9, 10%? Well, if there's no inflation, it'd be 2%, like it used to be, right? They always question that there wasn't any inflation. That's a bunch of bullshit. Once you get off of gold to back your money and you print $10 trillion and you keep printing and printing and printing, believe me, you have inflation. If the prices go up or not, or whatever they're doing, or they're burying it with printing money, they keep printing money to hide the fact you have inflation. Since 1971, you've had inflation. What about Bebo? Class is going on. So the first thing I discussed was Tesla trying to sell their electric cars for $110,000. Now that doesn't include interest. Who the fuck's buying it? Who the fuck's buying an electric car? First off, you're going to spend $110,000 on a Tesla. And from what I read, Rivian, which is the tires for these electric cars, get like 5,000 miles and then they're gone because the weight of the cars is distributed differently. The engines catch on fire, or the batteries. When the batteries go, it's $10,000. And how long does the charge last? As we know on a cell phone, yeah, when you first got it, it lasts you all day. But after a couple months, you're charging it all the time. Well, how do you think it's going to be on a charge on a battery on an electric car? Yeah, at first it might go 300 miles, then it's 200, then it's 50. Then you're just charging it all the time. If you can find a charge place. I know there's a gas station every mile. I don't know. I wouldn't know where there's a charger anyway. So again, it goes into Say's law. We have no demand for this product. Again, we can look at, I'm going to sell it to you for 110. What do you think this side is? You think this side's at 20? You think somebody on this side's going to, I'm going to buy an electric car. I don't care what the price is. Yeah, I'll spend 110 on it. And percent interest. So I'm going to make a $4,000 a month payment on my electric car. Oh, you mean I have to charge it every day? Where are the charging stations? Oh, they don't have any? Well, how about if I want to go, drive to Florida from Detroit? I'll drive to Tampa. It would be 2 tanks of gas, and I could find a gas station every 20 minutes on the highway. Where the fuck's the charging? Oh, you mean I'm going through Kentucky and there's no charging station? Because I couldn't find gas stations. And now what do I do? Call AAA. I needed to come for 8 hours to charge my car. I don't see any benefit. When I do spreadsheets for work, the first thing, how I got the job is I said I add value. So if you're doing something X, I will look at it. And if I can change it to add value, I will do that. What do I do in football or with girls or in poker? What do I do? I add value because I give you a different look. We're going to look at the Georgia defense. I'm adding value to your handicapping by saying, this is what you should look for. Look for this defense. Look for Iowa State. Let's bet them under. Look at the coaches. They're the quarterbacks. Sean Payton's at Denver with Russell Wilson. We're going to bet Denver. I'm adding value because I can identify what the fuck the value is. So I'm wondering what the value, what value are you adding for an electric car? What's the value? There's none I can see. It's going to be more expensive. like cell phones used to be free if you bought the service, and then eventually you had to buy the phone. They weren't giving you the phone anymore for the service. So like Ameritech or Verizon, you'd get the $50 plan and they'd give you the phone. Now it's no, you got to buy the phone and you got to buy the plan. But you can either make a monthly payment on the phone or buy the phone. Bobby, I saw some videos about Texas Tech this year saying they're going to be a very good team. You think Tech will be a threat at all? Well, let's see. What do I got in my notes? Well, I don't think they're playing week 1. Let's take a look at it. So you're not interested in electric cars, Bobby? Let's go to the Big 12. Texas Tech. The offense is set for a tremendous jump in 20 following the success of 2. What plagued the Red Raiders the most last season was the inconsistency on the offensive line. So how are you going to resolve that? Doesn't sound like it. Who's their coach? Joey McGuire. Maybe he's friends of Andrew McGuire and Mark McGuire. 8-5. Their defense sucked. 34 to Texas, 37 to K-State, 41 to Oak State, 45 to Baylor, 34 to TCU, 48 to Oklahoma, 25 to Ole Miss, 30 to Houston. What did Kansas put up? 28 on them. And TCU put up 34. So Tyler Shaw is their quarterback. Last year he was 106. So he must have got hurt. 106 out of 177 for 1,300, 7 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Their running back is 691 yards, and the receiver caught 51. The analysis, there's confidence brewing in Lubbock. Second-year head coach Mark McGuire has Red Raider Nation believing once again after an 8-5 debut, and 2023 will be a telling season. So what's your question? They said whip Wyoming week 1. Let's see. What do I got for that game? Texas Tech 14-56. Shaw against Peasley. Wyoming, good defense, no offense. Texas Tech over team. I mean, it all depends on how strong Wyoming's quarterback is and how strong their defense is. Can they stop them? I don't think a Wyoming can stop Texas Tech if they're doing good offense. The problem we have on Texas Tech, we keep thinking Mike Leach is there. We keep thinking I don't even remember Mahomes there, that he was any good. Baker Mayfield was there. He couldn't even start. That's what kills me. Baker Mayfield goes to Texas Tech, can't beat out the guy. To be the man, he's got to beat the man. And he couldn't beat the man. So he transfers to Oklahoma. All of a sudden he's good because he couldn't beat the guy out at Texas Tech. I don't think it was Mahomes, but maybe it was. Anyway. I mean, they should be explosive with no deep. They're an over team. If they were to play Kansas, which they will, we'll be betting the game over if it's in the 60s. And they'll cover it by halftime. I remember Mahomes there. He was with Clint Kingsbury. He was real good, but the defense would not help him. Well, that's the story of Texas Tech. Even with Mike Leach there. That game they beat Texas with the score at the end of the game. Who was that receiver that was just outstanding? God, my mind's gone. But Even then, they didn't have defense. It was a good game when they beat Texas on the last play. Who is the receiver? He's Pro Bowl. Real good receiver. Anyway, they're just an over team. They're a very good offense, no defense. Wyoming probably won't be able to keep up with them, would be my guess. You're not going to get snow. It's going to be September. So I think returning quarterback, they should, I don't know about lighting them up, but because Wyoming will probably try to run on them and play a two deep zone to keep everything in front of them. So you could have long drives. That's the new thing now. We'll play a two deep zone so the passing team can't just go wild on us. We'll watch this when USC plays, probably Utah and Washington and that. They'll be playing two deep zones to keep everything in front of them. He was a little bit heavier, though, and a bit out of shape, but could still fling it and run it. They gave TCU a touch game, I recall, and TCU was undefeated at the time with Boykin as quarterback. With the Texas game? Who was their receiver? He played for the Niners, didn't he? Yeah, he played in that San Francisco-Seattle playoff game. The game with the Richard Sherman, where he tipped the ball for the interception, and then he says, "You're disrespecting me. You can't throw the ball at me." He was on the Niners. He was a receiver on the Niners at that point. Really good receiver. But anyway, yeah, I mean, see, this is the problem, Bobby. You've hit the nail on the head. Inflation's at 2%, and people believe it. I saw a video about Texas Tech, and you believe it. You've got to do the input so you know. Like me, I've got my analysis, right? As I was saying, I'm adding value because I know how to analyze these teams to make the picks to understand the teams. That's adding value to my handicapping. And when you look at somebody like this guy who gave you Texas Tech are going to be a very good team this year, you're believing it. Oh, these Maloney or Rick Rude, no, we're going to have an easy landing and there won't be a recession and there is no inflation. You can't believe it because it's not true. It's fantasy land. I remember I was at my old job and I was trying to help people with gold and silver because nobody gets it, right? And the guy goes, well, I really don't have gold, but I do have some silver. And I said to him, it's not a real price. It's a fantasy price. And he looked at me and I said, COMEX is not a real price. It's not a free market price. It's a government price fixing price where if they want, they just mix paper gold with physical to keep the price down. It's not free market. And again, no, he doesn't understand it. Oh no, gold's 1,900 or gold's 1,800. It's like, no, it's not. So these guys just don't get it. I was watching some idiot today, and he's talking. Well, BRICS, it's not even on the agenda. They're going to come out with gold-backed currency. Oh, like you saw the agenda. I'll listen to Alligator and Egon when they talk about it's on the agenda. Or Mark McGuire said, I talked to my buddies in Russia. It's going to be talked about because they want to get out of the U.S. stranglehold, right? They don't want to be told what to do by the U.S. They're sick and tired of the U.S. That's why all these countries are joining BRICS. But the only catch is there's not a currency unless it's backed by gold. Of course, they're going to have that. It's on the agenda, but you're not even, what are you, in the meeting? You're going to see the agenda. You're going to know what they talked about. They're not going to tell you about that. That's going to be hidden, just like you guys hide everything that's going on here. You guys hide everything. So there'll definitely be it, but the guy says there won't be. So if you're watching this show and you believe the guy, you go, oh, they're not going to do a gold-backed currency. Oh, okay, yeah, and we'll believe that. So that's the problem. The biggest key is you've got to understand it before, just because somebody says the sky is green, you believe it, right? So you've got to understand what the fuck's going on. I appreciate the question. I'm happy to help you out, but you've got to be smart enough to question, well, in this case, it's an easy one, but inflation's at 2%. You've got to be smart enough to go, there's no fucking way. Because they measure inflation price over price, and because inflation's so high that the interest rates are 9%, the car prices are down. So they're trying to say, look, the car prices are down, inflation's going down because prices are going down. But if you understood it's because of the autos and because of the high interest rates, because of the inflation, they have to lower their price to sell it because the interest rates are so high. So inflation's not, if that's how they're measuring inflation, you just shake my head, Bobby. You just go, that's not accurate, because they're still charging 9%, 10% for the housing and for the cars. And the last thing I want to do is buy stock in a car company now, because they're not going to sell any cars. It's too expensive. Prices go up, sales drop. So why would these guys, and Tesla, what's he doing? He keeps cutting prices. Tesla cut this price again. Tesla cut that price again. He's cutting them because he can't sell it. That's why he's cutting prices. He ain't doing it for his looks. So Tesla's out of touch with reality. Anybody that owns Tesla stocks are out of touch with reality, because they're not going to make any money until these interest rates come down, which ain't going to happen. And it's not the Fed keeping the interest rates up or down. It's the bank. The Fed has nothing to do with these inflationary interest rates. This is purely the inflation. I'm a bank, like I say, if I'm going to sell you a $50,000 loan, I'm going to charge it 15% interest because I want to get $55,000 back from you. And if I don't, even though you're going to give me 50,000, it's inflated dollars. It's only worth 45. So I don't, if I'm going to get this back, I'm going to need a whole lot more of these. So I'm going to raise my interest. It's got nothing to do with the Fed. What the Fed's doing is what they charge the banks, not the public. The Fed's not setting the rate for car and home loans. The banks are, and the banks are doing it based on the inflation of the Fed. And when nobody will buy the debt, and the Fed has to buy the debt, the bonds from the Treasury, that's more inflation because they got to print money to buy it. So there's no way the money supply is going down. It can't. Social Security, with Medicare and all this bullshit, aid to Ukraine and all the stuff that they buy, if it's not consumed by me and you going to work and buying it, it's inflation. You're just printing money. So this is the most critical point. Inflation's not down. It's still 10, 15, 20%. Who knows how to really measure it, but it's way higher than 3. And, and the gold price, again, it's still price fixed. I don't know how long we have to wait for the banks to stop price fixing it. Now that it's a tier 1, they got to have the money to cover it. It's still like down, 1905 or something today or whatever. So you're going, I know it's going to go up, but like, why is it like, but then, it's just price fixed. They're doing derivatives to offset it. So that's what's happening. Yeah, Michael Crabtree. Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about. I remember that Texas game when he caught it one-handed at the end. This Sunday is the announcement, right, Professor? No, BRICS is next week, what's today, the 15th? So it'll be it's the 23rd, 4th, and 5th, or 22nd, 3rd, and 4th. It's next week in South Africa. That's the meeting. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. The dollar's done and gold's going through the roof regardless. So this is the fantasy people are telling you. Well, the dollar's the main thing, and it's the reserve currency. And what they're not telling you is it's done. It's inflated. It's worthless. So even if it's the reserve currency, it's zero. It's not worth anything. So even if it's the reserve currency, it's going out because they are printing it to death. If it's reserve or not reserve, doesn't fucking matter. If you inflate it, it goes to zero. This is the value of the dollar now. Just like my cousin Vinny. See, it's thin. He's trying to tell you this is a brick. It has no value. So it can be the reserve currency. But you know what? Nobody wants it. And so the quicker they get the gold-backed currency out, the quicker gold goes up, and the quicker the dollar goes out. The dollar's going to go out very soon, according to Egon. You know that 45% of the pool is full, and it's only 7%. And then in the last 5 minutes, it overflows. And that's basically what he's warning is that's what's going to happen that last 5 minutes. And so we're at the point where it's 7%, and very soon the dollar will just be worthless. And that's why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the reserve currency. People are trying to, it's the reserve currency. It'll always have value. No, not if you inflate it to zero, it won't have value. Now, maybe it has value in the U.S. I don't know what's Venezuela doing right now. How are they managing over there with their heavily inflated dollar? I assume they come out with a new currency. Zimbabwe did. They came out with actual gold. They came out with gold coins because their inflation got worse and worse. Japan's inflation's through the roof. The British inflation's through the roof, and the euro is going out. So all these currencies are going out, and they'll come out with some new currencies, probably not backed by gold, trying to scam everybody because nobody really knows, and they'll be worthless. Bobby, you're busy, I see. What is the meeting about? Are they announcing gold standard? How that coffee? You're worried about the coffee. Coffee's fine. The meeting's about BRICS being more involved, creating BRICS, creating this settlement of these 50 countries and this Asian thing, Shanghai thing. So it's basically getting 20 people, and we're going to talk Teaserking. We're going to talk football. So we get the 20 people in the room, and we start organizing. All right, this is what we're going to do. And that's what they're going to do. Will they announce? They should announce that they're having they'll probably say a commodity-backed currency. So we're going to get away from the dollar with this commodity-backed currency, which we know is gold, but they might politically just say commodity-backed. They should be announcing it, although I don't know if they need to, but it's their conference. So I'm sure that's on. That's one of the things they'll talk about. The other's probably free trade, how they're going to get away from the dollar, things like that. But it's basically sort of like the Eurozone, where there was, 14 countries in Europe, and they said, we're all going on the euro, and we're going to have a Eurozone, and it's free trade. It's critical that the BRICS have free trade, which I think they will. And then it's critical they have their own dollar, so each currency. So let's say China has the yuan, Russia's got the ruble, So in Russia, they'll use the ruble, and in China, they use the yuan. But what they'll use to trade amongst each other is this gold-backed currency, this new BRICS currency backed by gold. That's what they're going to use because nobody's going to trust Russia or China, right? They don't trust those. So what they do is they say, we have this, we have this new gold-backed whiskey, and then everybody's going to drink Canadian Club 12 year. So what they're saying is this is the new currency, and then everybody goes and uses it. So it's just a meeting, so everybody knows what the fuck's going on. Did they need to do a meeting versus a Teams or a Skype? Probably not. Are they really going to talk about the BRICS currency? I'm sure it's already been talked about. I'm sure it's a done deal. I'm sure they'll go to it very soon. My friend showed me the TikTok from November, but I don't know. I don't know that I trust that it's going to be November, but I do definitely they will have a BRICS currency or it'll never work. Who are they going to have? What, everybody's going to trust the ruble? Everybody's going to trust the yuan? Are you kidding me? Fucking Saudi Arabia doesn't want to trust. India certainly won't. South Africa won't. So they will trust a BRICS currency like the euro, but the euro is not backed by gold. This currency will be backed by gold to keep the value. Now, I don't know if I've kind of heard it's like a trade or settlement currency. So if I buy oil from China, how much is it in BRICS? And that's what I send you. But it doesn't matter. It still makes the gold go up in value. They kind of made it sound like, well, the average citizen won't be able to buy the currency, but somehow it's going to get into it's somehow the value of the gold will go up and somehow they'll be able to, what are they going to use? It's like the euro. Everybody uses the euro, so I don't see how that won't be in effect. So, yeah, that's the point of the meeting is just to talk about BRICS agenda. I'm sure free trade, the new dollar, getting out of the U.S. dollar if there's problems. That's probably it. I don't know what other points they would talk about, but that's what I would talk about from an economic standpoint. But they're definitely going to bring out this new currency, that's for sure. And it'll probably be rolled out in the next month or two because they are tired of the U.S. The U.S. is a bully. The U.S. Blackmails them. If you don't do this, we're going to cut you off of the dollar. We're raising interest rates, which is fucking everybody over because when you look at the $35 trillion in debt, it's these other countries that we owe. We owe China and Russia. I don't know about Russia. We owe China and Japan and Switzerland and the UK and Canada. That's who's buying our debt. That's who we owe. So when we raise interest rates, it affects if they've borrowed money, if they've taken some money from us, they got to pay us back in the higher interest rates. But they're the ones buying the debt. So they're all like, I ain't buying any more debt. It's where you'll never pay me back. That's the U.S.'s problem. So the huge debt makes gold go up anyway. The BRICS going to gold makes gold go up. And we got to blow up COMEX. And really that's our biggest concern is blowing up COMEX. Because you see this going down and they still think everybody's stupid. So they're going, well, if we keep gold down at 1910, even though the premium's still 2000, if we keep gold at 1910, nobody will want it. They'll just want the dollar. That's how stupid they are. But you need to get out of the banks because they just downgraded a bunch more banks, Finn or whoever downgraded the U.S., the banks are fucked because they can't afford these high interest rates because they were locked in at these 0 or 1% bonds and everything. And then they're going to have to renew them, and they're going to renew them at this 5-6%. So they're all going to go broke, which is what happened in the beginning. So look for some more banks to pop. And again, the debt, you can't you can't just keep palming the debt. You've got to eventually get out of the debt, right? So you have to, you can't pay it down. So, that's one of the reasons I hear of the inflation is, well, we'll just print a bunch of money to pay off the debt. Well, the problem is you can't. The debt's like $1 billion or $10 billion a day. And if you print $10 billion a day, the value of the dollar go down in value. So you're really killing the value of the dollar if you print it to pay off the debt. So they're fucked. I mean, the only way out is gold, which they won't use. So they're all going to collapse. The banks are going to collapse. So you got to get your money out of the banks. Definitely get it out of the stock. Definitely out of GM and Tesla. Warren Buffett is a fucking idiot. He puts all this money into GM in the middle of high interest rates and nobody going to buy a car as this whole inflation goes. He does not understand inflation. I've heard him try to explain it. He thinks it's prices. So he doesn't get the money's worthless. He doesn't understand that. So I'm gonna be very happy when he goes broke. Because I hate people that everybody, look what Warren Buffett did. He had a hamburger today. Like, who gives a fuck? So that's really what you're looking at is he doesn't know what he's talking. I'm getting so sick of this Batman character on The Big Short and these other. He called the housing crisis. Peter Schiff called the housing crisis. I called the housing crisis as soon as Clinton said, we're going to let these bad loans. People don't need credit to get a house loan. Being critical thinker that I am, I said, well, these houses are all going to default. And they did. He did it in 97, 98. So I called it in 97, 98. Some guy asked me how much money did you lose in the 2000 bubble. I said, I didn't lose anything. I knew it was coming. It's not hard to see, but you got to know what to look for, which is what I do. So anyway, so that's really it. Inflation is not 2 or 3%. We are in a heavy recession now, but they won't say it. Then you have an election coming up, so they're going to want to look good in front of the election. So everything is just a dirty lie. You cannot trust government. Well, you can't trust politics, but you can't trust government statistics, as Egon said. I think we're going to call him Eagle. So we got Eagle and Alligator. So Eagle is saying, I don't even trust the statistics. The Federal Reserve's printing the money to zero. That's what happens, and that's what's going to happen. We just don't know the exact time, but the BRICS should speed it up, and the debt should speed it up. So just, that's why I buy as much gold and silver as I can. Lately, I've been on a gold thing. I was buying a lot of silver because I didn't have any gold, and now I'm like, and I wasn't working, so I was like, there's a couple hundred I can afford. I'll buy silver. And now it's like last week I bought 4 ounces, and before that I bought 1.5 ounces and a half ounce. And, but I'd rather buy the 1/2 ounce than the silver. And I know Luke wants more silver, but I just think that I got my silver. Now it's time to get more gold because that's really what's going to go up. They'll both go up, but gold goes to 50,000. So I don't mind that. Anyway, so let's look at football. So during the week, we're running down what we saw. Sunday, there was 2 games, which I didn't analyze. So it was San Diego and San Francisco. Now everybody thinks Trey Lance is terrible. I told you that. When they made him the 3rd pick in the draft, I looked at him. What is this? This guy played 1 year, 3 years ago at North Dakota State. And, he was a freshman. What are you gaining out of that? And this is where, and they traded up players to get him. You know how good Frisco would have been if they would have got like a good running back and they've got a great defense, a good receiver maybe. I don't know. So anyway, Frisco looked like shit, but Purdy didn't play, but we did notice a lot of players. So Kansas City, New Orleans, I picked the preseason game. I was so excited. Hayner had a good game. Winston had a good game. Carr just played a few. So let's look at let's go down the list of who played Sunday or who played last week in preseason. Mahomes played. He was 2 for 2, but he did play, got the sweat, got the live action. So if it's good enough for Mahomes, but it's not good enough for all these other idiots, Bryce Young played a few, looked like shit. The Riddler played for Atlanta, and Woodside. Logan Woodside's very good out of Toledo. He's better than Reader, than the Riddler. We'll call Ryder the Riddler. So he was better than the Riddler, I think. I think Frank Correll was better than Bryce Young. I heard today Indy's already making Richardson their starter. He played like shit, threw an interception, and they've named him the starter. So in the first week, Indy plays Jacksonville. Indy's not going to score. Jacksonville is not that good, but I mean, it's a bad game because Jacksonville is a road favorite. So it's hard to bet Jacksonville, but there's no way Indy's going to score in the game. Richardson, what's Richardson going to do? He's going to throw 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, and he'll want to run a few times. This guy's not an NFL quarterback like Trey Lance is. And again, the running quarterback. Unbelievable. Houston and Baltimore. Mills looked really good. And Stroud looked like shit through the interception. I don't know what you do with that. I wouldn't start Stroud. He's not anywhere near ready. I'd probably start Mills and see how Stroud does. Lamar didn't play. Huntley looked pretty good. I think he's out of either Utah or UCLA. Why isn't Jackson playing? Because he's always hurt. So let's get this right. Mahomes played. Goff didn't play for the Lions, or Bridgewater was just signed. Young played a little. The Riddler played a little. Mills and Stroud played, but Lamar doesn't play because he's that good? But Huntley did. Burrow, well, we know he's hurt. Who is their backup? Oh, Simeon from Northwestern. They're in trouble if Burrow's hurt, man. They got nobody. Cleveland. Now, Cleveland, Thompson Robinson was like 9 out of 10. He looked sharp. Watson, I don't know. I think he played a couple and one drive. I would take Thompson Robinson and trade Watson, get the number one pick. I'd trade him to Indy or Houston because they don't have quarterback. And I got Thompson Robinson. Boom. That's my quarterback. They won't play him because they're not smart enough. Or, well, we're paying Watson, so we can't play. Even though Thompson Robinson's better, we can't play him. Which is my whole problem with the Lions. They had Stafford and they had Kellen Moore, who was much better, and they wouldn't play him. Then fucking trade him. Jacksonville, Lawrence played okay. Rourke, who's from Ohio, who I thought, wait a minute, I think he's playing for, it's his brother. So there's Nathan Rourke and somebody else Rourke. So the brother's at Ohio this year. He was at Ohio a couple years ago. So it's him and Lawrence. And then Indy, Minshew, and Ellinger, and they're going to go with Richardson. Okay, I know Ellinger from Texas is really good. Minshew was good at Washington State, pretty good at Jacksonville. I don't get the rush to Richardson. Like, what did he do? He got killed by Florida. He got killed by Kentucky. What did he do that all of a sudden he's a pro quarterback without any practice? We gave him 5 snaps, and it's absurd. So I would work on Ellinger. He was very good at Texas, I think. So you're not even giving Ellinger a chance. And you're going right to Richardson to what? Prove he's bad? I mean, he sucks. Tampa Bay played Trask and Mayfield, both pretty equal. I like Trask. Mayfield, I saw what Trask did at Florida. I see what Mayfield did at Texas Tech and at Oklahoma. I would go with Trask at this point. Minnesota, Cousins and Mullins, pretty weak quarterback. Cousins, we know, stinks. Mullen, I think he's from Iowa. Doesn't really give you much. So Minnesota's got problems, but they do have Jefferson. So they got Jefferson and nobody to throw to him. Tennessee, we had Levis and Willis. Are you shitting me? This is their quarterbacks? Now, I don't know if they still have Tannehill, and they didn't play him. Levis is nothing. Willis, I think he was there last year, didn't do anything. They're in trouble. They do have the Michigan running back, Hassan, from 2 years ago. So he was really good at Michigan. Tennessee drafted him, but he didn't play. And so that's kind of why they didn't sign Henry. New Orleans had Carr, Haener, and Winston. Haener looked really good. Carr will be the starter. Winston, just trade the guy. He's turnover prone. Colts might have the worst quarterback lineup in the NFL. Well, it's right up there with Minnesota and Detroit, that's for sure. They need to bring back my boy Andrew Luck. Yeah, I heard he was contemplating it, but he's just injury prone. But Bobby, you should go play quarterback. Yeah, you could beat out these guys. So New Orleans with Carr and Haener, Winston I'd get rid of. See, I'd trade Winston to Indy or something. Let them go play there or Atlanta where they need quarterbacks. Frisco and Pitt, Purdy didn't play. Lance sucks. Darnold, yeah, he's nothing. He's a journeyman. Pitt played Pickett and they played Rudolph. So Pitt played their starter. New Orleans played their starter. I don't know if Tennessee did. Tampa, many didn't play Cousins. Trevor Lawrence played and Minshew or Richardson. Cleveland played Watson and Thompson Robinson. Burrow's hurt, so that's okay. Baltimore, I don't know what they're thinking without playing Jackson. Houston played Mills and Stroud. Carolina played Young and the Riddler. Atlanta. KC plays Mahomes, but Detroit didn't play Goff or Bridgewater. So it comes to what you're thinking about, which is like, what the fuck are you playing like your fifth string quarterback that if he ever got in the game, you're going to lose anyway, when these guys need reps? I go back to you, Bobby. You're playing in a preseason game. I want you getting 4 at-bats. I don't want to give up one of your bats for some guy who hits 202 on the Tigers, who I don't want to rely on, and I don't want him taking your reps. That's how I look at it. So in football, what the fuck are you doing playing these guys who are like the Lions, Adrian Martinez? Are you really going to play Adrian Martinez? If Goff gets hurt and Bridgewater gets hurt and Hooker ain't ready and you got to go to Adrian Martinez, you're not even getting the first down in the game. He sucked at Nebraska. What is it about that you want to give him a chance? He had a chance for 4 years at Nebraska. The guy sucked. I thought he was doing better. That's what got the coach fired, because he couldn't. He didn't want Joe Burrow. He'd rather have Adrian Martinez. No wonder why he's fired. But what is it that you're looking at? It's like Graham Mertz going to Florida. What is it you think he's going to do? He sucked at Wisconsin. What is he going to light it up at Florida? Maybe they run a little better offense, but he might do better, but he's still not in Rising's league. See, Rising, that's where I get, you look at how he plays in college and he lights it up, or Hartman at Notre Dame, right? They light it up. So then I'm going to draft him. But what are you doing? Richardson didn't light it up. Stroud, that's an Ohio State thing. And the number one, Bryce Young, what did he do? He lit it up. But wait a minute. They should have lost to Texas. They lost to LSU. They lost to Tennessee. So what did Young do that made him so good? He got the late run against Texas, so they kicked the field goal. So that makes him a good pro. You don't want him running. You wanted him to throw the ball, but he couldn't find anybody open. So that's my point. So Frisco, Purdy doesn't play. Okay, Pickett does play, and Rudolph for Pitt. Arizona, Toon and McCoy played. We know Kyler Murray's not playing. He's hurt. Washington, boy, Washington's pathetic. Howell and Brissett. So I would start Brissett. Howell stinks from North Carolina. Toon's from Houston and McCoy. Well, we know McCoy sucks. Toon from Houston, maybe you start him. Either way, this has underwritten all over it. I mean, week one, you got, Arizona, Washington, the best quarterback on the field is what, Brissett. You're not getting a lot of points. Green Bay, Chicago. Love and Clifford. I'd rather have Clifford from Penn State than Love. Love didn't do anything. Now here's the real one. So Fields, it's Fields and it was PJ Walker, I think. And Fields goes 3 for 3 for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. And how misleading is that? So a nice catch by TJ Moore or RJ Moore, whatever the fuck the guy's name is, and some running back caught a 70-yard screen pass. So that's it. Fields only needed to throw 3 passes. Got lucky on both for 2 long touchdowns. I don't know what DJ Moore did to get open, if it was a fluke or a batted. He only throws 3 passes, and you're like, okay, we're set. You think Moore is going to do this against real first-string defensive players who are double-teaming him to get him out? And Love, who knows? See, Love was one of these guys. What was I mentioning? It was like they'll throw 10 passes for 40 yards, right? Fields was the exception because his guy got open and happened to go 70 yards, and the screen happened to go 60 yards, so he gets 125. But that was a fluke. Okay, all right, wasn't a fluke. Yeah, let's see him do it again in 10 years. But some of these guys are like 8 of 10 for 35 yards. Okay, what is that? They're just dumping the ball down. A lot of them threw interceptions. Okay. Week 1, let's see what happens week 2. Problem is, there's only 3 weeks of preseason. You can't afford to give Fields 3 passes last week. You got to play him all half this week, and you got to play him 3 quarters the next week. You're acting like the guy's Joe Montana, and he's all set, and he doesn't need to work on his game. That's you see the pro golfers. They get off the 18th hole. They're on the driving range because they sucked. I don't get it. I don't get how 3 passes and he's all set. I don't even get resting the guys. So Love did play, Fields did play, but very limited. Oakland and Denver. Garoppolo looked good. O'Connell from Purdue. I don't know where they're getting these guys. Denver had Russell Wilson and Stidham from Auburn, so I don't mind that. Russell Wilson played, hit Jerry Jeudy, so he played. So here you got Sean Payton, all of a sudden Jerry Jeudy's playing and Russell Wilson's playing, and that's what you need to do. You need to get them reps, and you need to get them ready to go. And that's what Sean Payton does. Oakland, McDaniels, guy's an idiot. So Garoppolo, okay. And O'Connell from Purdue, really? This guy sucks. Miami, Tua didn't play. Mike White played from the Jets and some other guy. San Diego, Herbert. I don't think he played. This guy Stick and Staley. No, that's the coach, Staley. Stick and one other guy. Stick had most of it. I don't know who. He's probably from Eastern Washington or one of these. Herbert's the guy, but I would like to see him play the first half this week. Tua, probably concussion, who knows. Philly and New England, Hurts doesn't play. Mariota, are we really relying on Mariota? New England, Jones doesn't play. Zappe goes 18 for 20. Why is Zappe not your starter? And if he's not, why isn't Jones playing? God knows Jones needs the work. God knows he sucks. So why is he not playing? Why is Tua not playing? Why are you sitting these marginal players out that God knows they need the work? So Jones, I don't get. Zappe lights it up. Zappe's better than Jones. What the fuck you doing? LA, Stafford doesn't play. Kent Benson plays. Stenson Benson looks really good, has that beautiful touchdown pass. He looks much better than Stafford. Seattle, Smith doesn't play, and Drew Lock from Missouri plays. He was at Denver. Decent backup if you need it, I think. That Ohio State wide receiver played. I'm shocked he didn't get hurt. But I don't get why Stafford, you need to see if he's any good, although at least they went to Stenson Benson. And Stenson looked really good, like he's at Georgia, that nice touchdown he threw. So at least you gave him a half or 3/4 of work. That's the idea of the preseason. It's practice. But it's live, fast-speed practice. You've got to have that. So I don't know why Geno Smith isn't playing. I don't know why Lockett and the other guy isn't playing. Dallas, Prescott did not play. Greer lit it up. As I was saying on the Sunday class, Greer's your starter right there. Go to Greer, trade Prescott, get a number 1 draft pick, put him with Micah Parsons. Get a Micah Parsons too. Put Mike on one side. It's like when Lawrence Taylor had Pepper Johnson, and they had the 4 great linebackers. And that's what they should be doing. Get another Micah Parsons. You've got Prescott, or you got Greer. Get rid of Prescott. Pick up a receiver in the 5th round. They always get the receiver in the 1st round is never any good. They had that Alabama guy who, of course, didn't do any good. It's funny how all the Alabama receivers just fade away. They're there for the money. The Giants, Danny DeVito was much better than Jones, I thought. Jones didn't play. Why would you be resting Jones? Jesus Christ. Prescott needs the work. I don't get why they're not playing him. They might get injured. Fellas, they're going to throw 10 interceptions. So if they don't get the work, they're not going to be playing anyway, because you're going to be losing by 30 points because they're not ready to go and they're throwing interceptions, especially Prescott and Jones. Stafford maybe, Smith probably, Jones on New England, absolutely. Hurts for sure. That's the problem there. And then Buffalo and the Jets. Allen and Rodgers didn't play. Zach Wilson's looking really good because Rodgers is helping him out. Buffalo had Matt Barkley, who was like 20 of 21, but we know he sucks. So a lot of the starters now, okay, Rodgers and Allen probably not, but Mahomes fucking started and was 2 for 2. He played the drive, but that's okay for Mahomes. He wanted to get all these guys should be playing at least the first 2 drives. This week, they should be playing because there's only 3 weeks. They should be playing the first half. They get hurt, they get hurt. Who gives a fuck? It's football. They're all going to break their legs. I mean, maybe they get a different. Look at Burrow. He's got he hurt his calf. All right, he's already ready to go. No question about it. He probably, I don't know if he'll play the 3rd preseason game, but he's ready to go. He'll start the first week. So, I mean, there's not a big deal if it's not a critical injury. Now there's the throwing, you hit the helmet and you hurt your thumb injury. Nobody wants that, but I mean, Christ, they're gonna play. If they're not ready for week one, that's when it counts. Then when they throw, when Prescott throws 3 interceptions against the Giants, what the fuck are you gonna do? Well, at least he didn't get hurt. He didn't get hurt in the preseason. Yeah, but you just lost the game because this guy doesn't know what team to throw to. Hard to judge running backs, although I heard Dalvin Cook signed with the Jets, so they're going to the Super Bowl. You've got Ezekiel Elliott goes to New England. I don't know what that means. Again, Belichick does not know how to handle running backs. He never had good running backs. Brady would dink it as his running plays to James White, right? So I don't know, but they don't know how to scheme for running backs. They really don't know how to scheme an offense. Their offense sucked last year. What do I got? New England. They're an under team. They score 20 points a game because they don't know how to have. It was all Brady, right? Brady would run the offense. Well, they don't have Brady. So you're not having fucking Matt Jones running your offense the way Brady did. He's never had to do an offensive coordinator, offensive style that was any good. It was all Brady. McDaniels, Weiss, they go to other teams. Look at McDaniels on Oakland. They suck. Oakland is they're an over team, so they score mid-20s. That's with Carr and Devontae Adams. Adams, I don't know, and then Carr's gone. Garoppolo sucks. So, again, what is their offensive strategy in New England, which we don't know? So, okay, they added Elliott. I'm curious who adds Henry. I don't know where Tannehill is. I think he's probably still at Tennessee looking at these quarterbacks. Arizona's in big trouble with Tune and McCoy. Washington's in big trouble with Howell and Brissett. I would probably go to Brissett. He stinks, but he's at least had some experience. Green Bay's in trouble with Love and Clifford. Chicago, we know, is in trouble with Fields and P.J. Walker. So when Fields gets hurt running, they're going to go to P.J. Walker. Oakland with Carr. Denver, I like Russell Wilson. Miami's in trouble. Tua and White. San Diego, Herbert. Philly's in trouble with Hurts and Mariota, and then New England, Jones, and Zappi's the better quarterback. LA's looking really good with Stafford and Benson. Seattle, Smith and Locke, I like. Dallas, I like Greer, don't like Prescott. And the Giants, I prefer DeVito over Jones. Buffalo with Allen, and the Jets with Rodgers. And now you add Dalvin Carr to that. Dalvin Cook, unfucking believable. What a bad. And then they had the other guy who's back, who was like the rookie of the year, the running back. So how fucking loaded are the Jets? This is a Super Bowl team. If you I don't bet these team overs, but that's probably one I would. What is it? The Jets over 9.5, and there's 17 games now. They'll win at least 12. Probably 13. I don't know who's going to beat them. I mean, they'll beat Buffalo, Miami, New England twice. I just don't know. I think maybe they got Kansas City, but I wouldn't be surprised if they beat KC because KC's going to be flat right away. We won the Super Bowl. We don't give a fuck. And then finally they'll wake up and, it happens to every team since there's been the Super Bowl. Even the Packers, when they won in 65, they were flat as hell. They had a lot of injuries. 66, they got lucky. 67, they got lucky to win the Ice Bowl. But they weren't blowing people out. And then you got the more current ones. Even the Steelers, after their Super Bowl wins, struggled in the beginning, and then they then they turned it on, but when they had the first 5-6 games, they didn't do anything. The one year they played Oakland in the revenge game of the 72 revenge game. So they beat them in 74 in Oakland to go to the Super Bowl, and then they beat them at home in 75, but in 75, the first game was against Oakland. Oakland beat them pretty good. There was one year that Oakland beat them like 35-0 or something. But to start off, they didn't play Steeler football. And if the Steelers don't play Steeler football, we know the Niners struggled. The next year, they didn't make it. So what I'm saying is Casey's going to be a little weak because we're the champions. Then they'll start going. They got Denver and Russell Wilson, and they got San Diego. So they got a big problem in their own division to worry about. Fortunately, they all get the Lions, so that'll be an easy win. I take that back. I forgot about the Falcons. Well, they got the Riddler and who's the other guy? The Riddler and Woodside. Well, Woodside's actually not bad from Toledo, but he's not a superstar. Hopefully DeVito don't pop positive for steroids because he definitely got a taken something for that growth spurt he's had. Well, I think he did, but I think he can get away with it. Unless he's busy filming Twins Part 2. Well, you never know what Arnie's up to. Not to get off football, that's okay. As you can see, we only cover about 7 subjects. But Bobby Bowe is getting texted a lot right now by this girl who a bit upset with me because I refused to give in on being exclusive to her. She cool and cute, but I am not trying to be around her every single day. What the hell does Bobby Bowe look like? She's not quite my type on that level. Well, then I wouldn't worry about her. I would just, when the Cuban girl is not around or whoever else, then, you're Bobby Bowe. You're the man. You got the silver. You got to get the gold, but I can't wait for football. We're getting close. No, we're less than that. The first college is the 26th. That's 11 days. The 26th starts. We got Navy. That must be a Saturday. Navy Notre Dame is the start. So it's like 2 weeks away, right? Because 13th. The 13th was Sunday, so 2027. Yeah, so it's a week and a half away, not 3.5. Pro maybe, but not college. We get the Notre Dame, we got Hartman, and we got New Mexico State. We got everything else. See, this is the whole thing with personality and INFJ and girls. That's why you have competition. You don't like the girl or she's just not right for you, but you want to hang around with her and she's cute and, you don't mind spending some time with her. But see, that was always my thing. I didn't really want to settle down. So when I was younger, it was really confusing to me because you'd see the girl and you'd like her, but you didn't want it to become this relationship. You didn't want to get tied down. That was always my problem. I wanted to be free. I always wanted to be free. I just didn't realize that when I was younger, that's what I wanted, like I do now. But Jenna's in the Ukraine and Daria's in Russia and then Irina's in Romania and, whatever. I want to be free to do what I want, but I don't want to hurt the girls and I don't hurt them. I'm very nice to them. Like here, I'm giving Daria money for rent, and I'm giving Jenna, helping pay for her to go to Berlin to meet her friend. So I kind of respect them both and take care of both of them because I can, and I'm fine with it, and they're fine with it. Well, I don't think they know. I think if Jenna knew about Daria, she'd be pissed, and I think Daria knew about Jenna, she'd be pissed. I don't tell them that kind of stuff. They don't need to know. It's on a need-to-know basis. But just go out and enjoy it and don't think about it and don't worry about it. When you want to meet her, you go meet her. When you don't want to meet her, you say, I'm busy tonight. You want me to be exclusive? I don't want to be exclusive. And you just get to the private Bobby. So as we discussed last time, the CIA guy says there's public, there's private, and then there's kind of secret. You know, you don't tell anybody the secret except for the real close friends. So the public is what you do in public. Oh, hi, how are you? You don't like the person, but you're friendly to them. Although I'm not like that. I just tell everybody to fuck off. Then you got the private life, which is where you tell, I teach economics and I do gold. I talk about myself, and then the girl can talk about herself. So I know everything about Daria, and I know everything about Jenna, and they know everything about me. But I'm at the private personality, and either you like that or you don't. So they like it. So, okay. The only thing I'm not telling them is about them that I'm dating both of them, but that I don't need to tell them that I'm not lying because they're not asking, but they just like the way I talk to them. But that's how I am private. So that's how you've got to be. If you don't, if you like the girl, but you don't want to be, she's the one, then you just tell her, look, I'm not looking to settle down right now. I'm not looking for one girl. I'm looking for the free market. I want to kind of tell her, Bobby, you got some good competition out there, so you better bring your A game if you want to come into the, into my ballpark. You gotta bring your game because you've got competition. And say, I'm shopping around. However you want to say it, but basically what you're doing is you're looking at the competition and you're seeing other girls, or you're just saying this isn't the one you want, but you still want to hang out with her. So that's that, but that's you use your private personality on her and tell her, and it's up to her that okay or not okay. And if she's not okay with it, fuck her anyway. If she's okay with it, then you know where you stand. But you should be the one comfortable. You're the one, you're Say's law. You're the market. And you're determining what restaurant you want to go to or what car you want to drive. So you're testing the market. So with the girl, you're doing the same thing. That's what you should do. That's what everybody should do, is meet 5, 6 girls or boys. And then who's the best for them is what you should be with. And maybe you're with 3 or 4 of them. And that's perfectly. Why do you have to be with one girl or boy? I don't understand that. So Bobby should be with one, and that's it. But if he likes 5 or 6, because he's Bobby Bow, he's the Ric Flair of the class, then look at Ric Flair. He was with 10 a night. But that's who Ric Flair was. But he was married, but in his private life with his wife, he said, look, this is who I am, and I fuck all these other girls, and that's what he does. So to be the man, he had to beat the man, and he'd go out and he'd buy all the drinks and he'd go with the girls. So there was no way he was just with his wife, but that's what he was. So you accept that from him. If you're dating Ric Flair and you're a girl, you accept that he's with other girls. Either, and I'm sure that happens with sports, all these sports. Look at Tiger Woods. How many girls is he with? But he didn't tell his wife the private personality. That's what he should have done. So he's married to this bikini model from Sweden. He didn't tell her, look, I like all these other girls. I'm a sex addict. This is what I like. Then she can choose that. Do I want to be with him and understand that's him? But he hid that. He just showed her his public life. He never showed her his private life or his secret life. His secret life is, I want to go with porn stars and waitresses. Well, whoever he's marrying should know this. Why are you hiding it from her? See, he was a very weak man because he doesn't. You show your girlfriend the private life, and then if you're going to marry her, she's got to know your secret life. And that's where people are too insecure. And that's why all these marriages end in failures and everybody gets divorced, because you don't share the secret life with them. Daria knows my secret life, and so does Jenna. which I'm glad. And I'm glad I can tell them that and talk about it. And they tell me theirs, and it's perfect. But that's how it should be. Then there's no surprise. And that way you never have problems. Everybody knows. And then you accept it, right? You either, I don't like that, or I do like that, certain types of sex or whatever the girl likes. And you can either say, well, I don't like that, or, oh, okay. Or you can do that. I won't. But that's what you do. And then it's like dating a porn star. She likes a lot of guys. So you either go and say, okay, that's fine, I'll date her, knowing that's what she does, or I don't like that and I won't date her. But you can't marry her and then she goes out with these other guys because that's what she is, and then you get divorced. No. You know that up front. You make that decision up front. This is what I like, or I like her, I love her, and she does this, and I'm okay with it, or I'm not okay with it. So if you're okay with it, when it happens, there's no problem. If you're not okay with it, then you don't marry her. And that's why everybody needs the secret life's got to be exposed, but you got to have the balls to expose it and say, this is what I like. But that's after you're into the private life, not the, oh, hi, how are you? And you don't give a fuck. That's your public life. And I don't even go there anymore. I don't even introduce my public life. You start talking to me, it's, do you own gold? Are you getting out of the dollar? You go about BRICS. That's all private. I'm not going and bullshitting. Oh, you're a communist. That's okay. I like that. I tell him to go fuck himself. You're a communist. I don't want anything to do with you. That's my private life, talking to the guy. But now he understands me. So telling him off, he gets it now and he's okay with it. So sometimes we talk. And I go, hey, it's Joe Stalin. We're in the hot tub the other day, and I go, hey, there's Joe Stalin. And some guy was in the hot tub, and he goes, well, you like Putin? I go, no. He likes Joe. He likes the leaders that killed 30 million people. That's him. He likes the communists. And I'm trying to shine a light on him, going, this is what you like, you idiot. You're a communist. They kill all their people. These are vicious people. Why would you fucking like them? And so I really put the spotlight on him. But he respects me because I told him to go fuck himself. You're a communist. I don't like that. But I didn't bullshit him and say, well, that's okay. Yeah, I understand you're a communist. No, I just give him shit for it. I go, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But he knows he's getting the truth from me, so he respects that from me. Okay, Bobby. Can't wait for football. Yeah, that's right. The Notre Dame and New Mexico State games. Yep. She's not bad at all, but kind of disappointed that she started bringing this up the past few days. Say that's not what you're interested in. Or you can say, you're just not my type, but I like you. I don't want to hurt you. We can hang out if you want to hang out with her. If she put it like this, Bobby, and this is how I view it. Does Jenna and Daria, do they make my life better? Irina's married, just had a kid, but she makes my life better. When I get a text from her, I'm excited. And if I don't text her, she says, why aren't you texting me? So we have a very unique relationship. But the question is, does she make my life better? Am I happy she's in my life? That's really the question that you've got to ask yourself is, does this girl make your life better? Are you happy with it? But you got to be very private with her and tell her, look, I'm not in that place right now. I like you. We can hang out, but there's other girls. I'm playing the free market, and let her, now she understands. Now she makes her choice. Either she likes you and knows that where she stands with you, or maybe she walks away. Either way, now she understands your point of view, and that's what she needs to understand. So that's exactly how I would say it, is just, I like you, but only if does that make your life better? Does that make you happy or not? If she doesn't, if she's a pain in the ass, like my ex-wife, She didn't make my life better, so we got divorced. I'd rather have been with Jenna or Daria than with my ex-wife. So it was an easy choice for me. So I have a friend who wants to leave her boyfriend because he's a real asshole. And I basically said this. She says, well, it's a tough thing, get the courage to leave him. I go, does he make your life better or not? See, I make her life better, but she wanted to marry me. I didn't want to marry her. And she went to this other guy thinking marriage was the answer, not realizing I gave her freedom. She didn't understand that. This guy controls her. This guy hits her. What the fuck you doing with the guy? So now she understands me a little bit like, well, maybe I should have stayed with Howard even though we didn't want to get married. She wanted to get married, but I didn't. And I was already married. I don't want newborns and little babies anymore. I'm past that point. And she didn't understand I gave her freedom. You can do whatever you want. That's fine with me. Go enjoy, be happy. She didn't get it. I think she's getting it now because the other guy's controlling. And this is the biggest problem. Most people can't get to our level where I say, look, do what you want, what makes you happy. I'm going to trust you. If you see a guy and you want to go screw him, go screw him. Why should I don't control her. I don't own her if that's what she wants. But I'm kind of open like that. That's fine. Go ahead. Enjoy yourself. This guy won't. She has a hard time talking to me. I can't talk. Joe's here. I mean, it's like, kind of fucking life is that? You like me. You want to keep me in your life. Then what the fuck you doing? I just texted her that I'm in class now, and she said I'm lying because I don't go to school. Oh my God. I'll have her come here. What's her name? Have her come to the Teaser King and in our economics class, and then she can eat crow because you're not lying to her. Well, I'm in an economics and football class. Well, give her the code and say, here's where I'm at. I tell people I teach economics and gold and football. Where do you teach it? I said, I teach it on YouTube, and I give them the thing. And if they want to come, I feel a lot of people listen to me because I start hearing like on the radio or some of these guys. I heard like Rick Rude say something about the Titanic or one of these guys. And I'm like, oh, where'd you get that from? Andy Scheckman used the term, I think. And I'm like, where the fuck did you get that? You got it from me. At least give me credit for it. So I know people are listening. They won't sign in. They don't have the balls to like talk. I do it live to talk. But anyway, yeah, it's like just buying a bunch of buffaloes, which are nice, but I still like my kangaroos, maples, and cougar. Well, exactly. I think as people, we like variety. I just had a roast. I had General Chow on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, we are into variety. I like blue, yellow, green. I like Daria and Jenna and, Irina. I mean, how do you meet one girl? So this is the conversation I had in the hot tub a couple months ago with this guy who we're not really friends, but we say hello. And he comes to me, he says, I'm getting married. And I said, why? Not trying to be mean or rude, but trying to really get him to explain why he's getting married before he gets married and then regrets that he got married. And I'm trying to say, but what if you meet a pretty waitress or another girl here or another girl that you work with, or you're out at Target and you meet a girl? These things happen all the time. Look, I went to Toyota. I met this girl who I didn't go to Toyota thinking I was going to meet a girl, but I was there by myself and I met this girl and she turned out to be really strange. But the point is, you don't know. So he couldn't really answer. Well, I love the girl. And I go, well, what else? And what if you meet another girl? I won't meet another girl. Who are you bullshitting? What do you mean you won't meet another girl? There's girls all over that you can meet. So what are you talking about? So I don't really, but I was being devil's advocate because he was all excited he's getting married. And I'm going, why are you excited about it? You don't realize you're trapping yourself. You have to be with just her. And when you get bored of her and the love stops, you're fucked, because now you can't go to somebody else. And that's always that's my biggest thing is getting locked in the cell. Oh, she's real pretty, but I can't date her because I'm married. Or she's really pretty, but I'm kind of outgoing, so I meet a lot of people. So that's one of the reasons I don't, I'll meet a lot of people. So why do I want to get tied down to one person? At first you get married because you want the company, but then you realize once you get older, that's not what you want. You want a lot of people. That there is that one soulmate that you want to be with. So he's trying to tell me, oh, I love her. And I'm just laughing at him going, what good's that? So when you meet these other women, you're just going to ignore them? What kind of way is that to go through life? And what if she's a bitch to you? What if you get tired of her? What if they stop loving her? So you can't marry for love. You marry for everything. It's a soulmate. It's love. You can talk about everything. You've got to get to the secret life. And I like to do this. And she's like, oh, that's cool. I'd like to do that. And you're going, okay, you can do that. I don't want to do that. Like Carmen wanted to jump out of airplanes. I didn't want to do it. I says, you can do it, but I'm not going to do it. So it's stuff like that where I knew Carmen's into heights and I'm not into heights. But at least we got that out of what we knew. And then I could make my decision. And I could tell her, I don't like heights. I'm not jumping out of an airplane. I'd like to see my next birthday. And she wanted to do it. I go, well, you go do it, but I'm not doing it. You don't need me to hold your hand to do it. Go, you want to do it. But we knew, so I know what I'm getting into before I get into it. That's the key to it. So if the guy talks to the girl and says, well, if I see another girl, I might want to go date her. Then does the girl say that's okay? She should say that's okay. She should say, well, if you like the girl, you want to go be with her, go ahead. Just don't forget me. And you'd have a lot less divorces if the people would talk like that, get to that level, and understand there's no fucking way that a guy's not going to see 20 beautiful girls and not want to be with them, and vice versa. And so you should want the person to be happy. If that's what you want, go enjoy. Just make sure you're back, and then I'll say, how was it? And were you happy? Okay, fine. Okay, now let's go and we'll enjoy each other now. I mean, but if that was the case, you'd have no divorces. The problem you have divorces, and here's the key that I find when people are like wanting a divorce, they'll yell. So when a guy meets this other girl and he's in love with the other girl, but he's married, will yell at the wife to chase her away so she'll leave him. And then he goes to the girl, because if he loves the girl, like Jenna and Daria, I don't ever yell at them. I yelled at Jenna because of the stupid, I got to let my dog out. Then I did I yelled at her on the Saturday when my back was killing me and she was supposed to come back. We were supposed to go to the beach for lunch. She never came back. I did yell at her. I go, where the fuck were you? I'm on vacation and you're gone for the day with your girlfriend, and I'm sitting here in the room and I don't know where to go and I can barely walk. That was the only time I really yelled at her, but we got past that. But I had the fortitude to yell at her, saying that was wrong, and so she knew what she did was wrong, and I don't think she'll ever do it again. But so you gotta put that barrier up, but otherwise I don't really yell at them, and I just really want them to be happy. So like she went to visit her son in Poland a couple months ago. I said, go ahead, go enjoy. How was the trip? Did you have fun with your son? Yeah. I was happy that now she's going to Berlin to visit her friend, and I said, go and enjoy with Natasha. Go have fun in Berlin. And so I don't care. I'm not locking her up. I'm like, if that'll make you happy, I know you got your high blood pressure. You got to work that out. Go and have a good time. And so, but that's fine. That's what helps the relationship is wanting the other person happy. But nobody's got enough guts to do that. They want to control. I find that to be the problem with most men or women. They want to control the other person. You can only do what I tell you to do. And, oh, you can't look at that girl. You were looking at that girl, weren't you? And yeah, she was hot. Why wouldn't I look at her? So a good girlfriend would say that's fine. A control freak would not like it. So you don't want to be with a control freak unless you like being controlled. Bobby, yeah, I know the professor don't like the meaningless chit-chat. I'm the same way. Yeah, you were hitting on him with the facts, professor. Absolutely. But I'm talking private and I'm talking facts. And they got to understand that, right? So, but I told the commie that, and now he respects me. Even though I kind of ignored him and kind of yelled at him for being a commie, I think we're at a point now where he understands me and respects me. So we have a little bit more conversation, but it's just me laughing at him for being a commie. But this is more where I'm at is let's talk gold. See, I try to help people with gold and they don't get it. Like I said, the guy in the pool, oh, you can't go to the grocery store with gold. And I'm like, well, you ain't going to be able to go to the grocery store with this shit. How are you going to spend this shit at the grocery store when it's worthless? And don't kid yourself. It's already worthless. It's just dying out. And then they'll come out with a new dollar. Gold will be the reserve currency. So it's as much as they fuck around with the dollar, but we'll have the gold worth 50 times more than the dollar is. Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's when you said she didn't want to talk after that and sat by her friend. Yeah. And, but I'm not sure if that's why she left early, but she said to me, and I thought it was, and she said to me, well, I got to let my dog out. And I says, really? And she said, well, do you think I'd rather be with you or with my dog at home alone? I said, well, it looks like you'd rather be with your dog because you're going home. And it was so ironic. Then I dropped her at the airport. So I had to pay for a ticket because she then needed to go early because her ticket was for Friday. And now I'm sending her home Monday. And the ironic part was I got my job Monday in the cab coming back to the hotel where we then could have celebrated because now I'm making all this money. And when I started, I wasn't working. So this is how I believe karma comes in. I go and I pay for her to come and I pay for her the flight. So by doing all the good deeds, then I got rewarded. And I think because I help Jenna and Daria that I get the reward. I get the job and I get the reward. So let's say I got paid last Thursday. So this Thursday I don't get paid. Next Thursday I get paid. And we'll see with BRICS. Again, gold's sitting there in the 1910s. It's not going to go any lower. It shouldn't. If it does, it doesn't mean anything like Eagle says. We know BRICS is going to announce gold-backed currency. If they don't announce it publicly now, believe me, Russia, they want to get off the dollar. Okay, that's the facts. They all want off the dollar. There's no other currency. They can't go to the yuan or the ruble, so all they can do is get off the dollar and go to gold. Gold's it. There is no substitute. It's the gold standard for a reason. But you can't compete with the dollar, right? There's no currency that can compete with the dollar. However, gold's not a currency. Gold's money. And there's nothing that can compete with gold. But they don't want to, because the real price of gold would make the dollar look like a joke, and then everybody would know the government fucks up. That's why they kind of want to control it. because they want to make it look like they don't want to look like total idiots, even though we all know they're total idiots. But most people are like, oh, inflation's down to 2%, oh, 3%, they did it. Yeah, go buy a car loan. Well, yeah, the interest rate on the car is very expensive. Well, hello, McFly, why do you think that is? That's because of the heavy inflation. Oh, no, it's prices. It's not because we're printing the dollar to death. That's the story they tell you. And again, they're telling you the public one. So if you got a girl who wants to tell you that shit, that's why you gotta. That's the Kenzie, right? Kenzie saying, "Oh no, I like you, and just pay, and I'll come to you, but I need $400 or $500 to come." And I'm like, "Well, okay, I'll do that once you send me a picture and give me a Skype, so I can see you're really Kenzie." And once I do that, then I'll give you the 400, and you come and spend a couple weeks with me. Perfectly fine. I'll take care of you here. Well, I can't do that. Oh, okay, then you're not telling me you're private Kenzie. You're bullshitting. See, that's how you put two and two together, and you go, no. Just like inflation. Oh, it's prices coming down. No, it's the interest rate going up because of the inflation, making the car less. Price of the car having to come down so they can sell it. Otherwise, they can't sell it at the prices they're at. But that certainly doesn't mean inflation's coming down. Oh, that's deflation. No, that's high interest rates making the cost of the car over market, and that's all it is. So again, the price of the market is king. So if I only want to give you $600, well, let's say a house, I got $300,000 for the house. And if you're going to add 10% interest, then you're going to have to sell it to me for 200 plus the 10 to get the 3. And that's not deflation. That's Say's law. That's the market. That's what the market says. It's like these electric cars, Tesla keeps lowering the price because there's no takers. You don't have a market in the first place, which he doesn't understand. Then your interest rates are so high and your prices are so high and the market's so not going to spend a lot. It's a new car. I'm not going to spend a lot on an electric car. So he can't sell it, so he keeps lowering prices. It's amazing if you understood Austrian economics, how successful you would be, right? If you understand what's the market and then where's your selling price, as we talk about in our gym shoe store, Bobby. Well, what does it cost? $30 to make tennis shoes. What's the market? What will the buyers buy it for? $50. Okay, so you can't sell it for $100 and wonder why nobody's buying it when the market's down here at 50. And in tennis shoes, you're not dealing with interest rates, but in cars and houses, you are. The interest rate bumps this way over market. That's why they can't sell it. That's why it's going to crash. Same thing with stocks. The only reason stocks are high is the foreigners. And as they start smelling what the rock's cooking with the interest rates and smelling what the inflation's doing, and they'll pull their money out, $35 trillion out of the stock market, out of the banks. What happens? Everything crashes because it's all a house of cards, Vinny. They'll show you it's a brick, but when you get the good look at it, you'll see it's not a brick. That's what the stock market is. If you looked at it like that, you'd get the money out right away. But they show you the stocks and how high they are. And look at Tesla and Microsoft and Amazon. But if you saw the real way, you'd get the fuck out of it. So I'm warning you to get out of Tesla, get out of GM, get out of Ford, get out of all the interest rate bearing stocks, housing and cars that you have to pay using interest rates because you're not going to buy them because they're too expensive. Plus, people are losing their jobs. People have expenses going up on other areas. So therefore, I only have so much money. And if I got to pay more on heat and electricity and food, I got a lot less for a car payment or a house payment or that. Now, yes, of course, the big shooters, it doesn't bother them, but 99% of the people are not the big shooters, and it does bother them. So we're going to see it. Then I was thinking about BRICS. And if the BRICS dollar goes to $50 US, I looked at it from two sides of the coin. On one hand, things that we have to import from those countries would be very expensive. But things we can get here, it really won't have an effect on it. So if we're buying meat from Texas, really probably won't have an effect. It's because they're not using BRICS currency. Unless they have to use the BRICS to buy the feed for the cow or something like that, or the machines or whatever. If they have to go to BRICS and pay, then yes, the price will go up. And we're all fucked, except for us gold and silver people. And I hate when they call us stackers. I hate that. No. We're collectors. I don't stack mantle cards and ore cards. I collect them. And I show you my collection. I collect them. I've never stacked a card, and I'm not going to stack gold and silver. That's never going to happen. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm saying is competition, especially with girls. In my mind, that's why I have multiple, and Jenna is competing with the other ones. And then when she did what she did, I'm going to yell at her because I'm not afraid, because I've got the competition. You date 3 or 4 of them, and now you can talk to one like that and without fear of, oh, I can't talk to her like that, she'll leave me. Then you're in big fucking trouble when you're worried about that. But if you have a couple of girls, then you can talk to one that you're unhappy with. And if she leaves you, you don't give a fuck, because what she just did, you don't want to deal with. Now, she's sincere, and she didn't mean to, but I haven't had any issues with Daria. She's been very nice. She buys something, she sends me pictures and all that stuff. And so it's nice. So again, hopefully we'll meet in Turkey, although they're having inflation in Turkey, so I don't even know if we can meet there, but I don't know where we can meet. I keep hearing Russia's winning the war, but the U.S. is running around like a dog chasing their tail. They don't know how to end it, because some of the people want to end it, and some of the people don't want to end it because they're making money on the arms, or they wanted to get Russia all their minerals and gold and silver and diamonds. So they want to loot Russia. So they don't want the war to end. But, the politicians want the war to end because we're getting killed. We have no chance of winning, and all we're doing is building Russia up. So we're in trouble there. But anyway, so I'd like to get to Russia to meet Daria, but I can't. So it's very frustrating. And we'll see. So that's what you do. But you got to have multiple friends. So you have multiple girlfriends, just like you have multiple friends. I can't oh, Bobby, you're the only one I can have in class. We can't have other people in class. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. So why is it any different, right, than with girls? I mean, you're my girlfriend, so are you, and so are you. And then when the problem happens, you can be yourself. And I'm frustrated, you're going to say it. If you're happy, you're going to say it, and you go along. And then they, but they should too have your multiples. Unless I'm the guy, then you've already had the competition. I know Daria's like that. I says, you got a boyfriend? She says, I'm not interested in anybody. And then she became interested in me. And but it's funny how girls are like that. I'm not interested in anybody. So when you have to be interested in somebody to have them as your boyfriend or girlfriend, it's funny. But yeah, I mean, that, Bobby, I would just even if you don't have 5 girlfriends, act like you have 5 girlfriends, and just say, no, I'm not doing it. Tell her about class. Tell her you told her about you, or tell her we talked football or gold or whatever. Um, I expect gold. I expect the BRICS will get gold out into the air. And really, now if we come back to Austrian economics and competition, the only way the U.S. can survive is to back their dollar by gold to compete with the Russian and the BRICS gold pack currency. It's the only, we can't compete with them with this crap. This crap can't compete with gold. And they know that. So either the game's over or they start backing it by gold, where they introduce gold. Either way, the price of gold has to go up. COMEX has to be blown away or change, where now they're at $10,000 and they're still playing their little paper bullshit games. But it's imperative the gold price goes up, because we know all the currencies, it's all blowing up, right? The Titanic's hit, all the currencies are in the water and in the ship, and they're all going down. Okay, so we are probably the only ones with eagle and alligator that fully understand what's going on. The Keynesians don't have a fucking clue. Oh, we'll just keep printing money. Yeah, good luck with that until the money's not worth anything. They did the same thing in Germany. They were printing money in 1923, 24. They were printing $1 billion a day. Gee, that really helped them as the dollar became worth less and less and less till it exploded. But they came out with the mark until Hitler came on and stole gold from everybody. But they came out with a new currency to kind of stop it, and that's what we'll do here. But if it ain't backed by gold, we won't be able to compete with BRICS. And don't think Putin's an idiot. Him and Xi both know, the Chinese guy, that gold-backed currency is what's needed to get out of the U.S. clutches, and they don't want to be controlled by the U.S. So everybody's had it. There's like 80 countries wanting to join BRICS. They all hate America, and I'm beginning to be embarrassed. I'm an American, I'll tell you the truth. When I hear what these idiots have done, I don't want to be associated with it. It's just pure criminal acts. I always forget where you said Daria is. She's from St. Petersburg, Russia. So she's Russian, and Jenna's from a city near Donetsk in the Ukraine. And I actually flew to Donetsk to meet Ira, my twin flame. And then I flew back to meet Jenna because I couldn't be with Ira. That's a sad story, but I don't want to get into it. So I've been to Ukraine fire, I've been to Odessa, and I've been to Lviv, and it's very nice. And when Russia takes over, it'll probably be the same thing. Odessa is a great city to go to. Once all this shit, I would recommend that, Bobby. Sean Penn was there. He was dating a girl, and before the war, as the war was starting, so he left there, but he was living in Odessa. So it's beautiful girls. It's cheap. It's perfect. For us, it's perfect because you live like a king there because everything's so cheap. And the food's great, and you're on the Black Sea, and the women are incredible. And what else do you want? And you already have the money, so you can live like a king. $1,000, and you're like a king there. So yeah, it's very nice. Nice restaurants and nice people. 2:00 in the morning, I'm not worried that I'm in a bad neighborhood. I worry about that here. I always forgot where you said. Okay, I thought Daria was the one you met in Russia, but that the other one. I have been in Moscow. I met another girl, not Daria. Jenna, I met in the Ukraine, and Ira, I met in the Ukraine. So there was a couple I met in the Ukraine. Russia was a little more difficult. You needed a visa, so I tended to. And then I met a couple girls in Romania. Again, where I didn't need a visa, so it's just buy the ticket and fly there. Where Russia, then you needed to get a Russian visa. It's like pain in the ass. But I didn't know Daria that well. As well as like I knew Jenna. I think I knew Jenna better. Then we got into a fight, and then she was married, and then now she's divorced. So Jenna, I always liked Jenna, but it was always trying to understand her and her to understand me. Me and Daria hit it off pretty well. Me and Irina are very close. She calls me her guardian angel, and I like that. And then Carmen's, we're trying to figure out if it's just she wants my money or not. I think Carmen's getting to the point where she realizes that I'm a really nice person and she can love and respect me. And I think she's starting to understand that now. She's in her mid to upper 30s, and she's starting to realize that most guys aren't like me, and she likes me. So she's now starting to get what I'm all about, and you can't find it very often. So, I think most girls see me and they understand that. And, they all like me. When they meet me, they all like me because I'm nice, respectful, and loving, and who doesn't want that? So once they see that, but when I talk with my private personality, a lot of girls get scared away because I don't do the bullshit. I do what I'll do the bullshit a little bit, and then I go into the private, and then a lot of girls are very insecure. They don't understand it, and they're lost. Odessa has great food. Yeah, there's a lot of good restaurants there. And it's cheap. It had to be a mafia restaurant. It had, I think I showed you, very nice. It was a fish place. Let me show you. You'd love it there, Bobby. Hmm. Okay, this must be a mafia restaurant. Very nice restaurant. You can see it's like sterling silver. Like, look at that. I mean, it's not cheap or anything. And then all the fish lying out. That's how they served you. I got a fish dish. They served the head and everything. It was pretty funny. So look at this kitchen. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is in Odessa, off the Black Sea. A little bit more. Yours truly. Black Sea behind me. Cute little waitress over there. A lot of wine there, and just it was very nice. There's a little better view. Black Sea. We didn't go outside, but you can see it. And we went to there was a candy store on like the boardwalk. It was kind of neat. So they had all that. It was wild. I mean, I didn't get the candy, but they had like a lot of different team country colors. Like this was Miami of Florida, and then here's all the colors, all the teams. This is the SEC probably, and then I think there's and then here was Michigan. They had their own little bowls, and then we would go to the beach, and they had the cabanas. Very nice. The girls in these tight little bikinis. So I had fun. There's the Black Sea. There's the thing. These were like $20 a day. We'd get food and drink. Here's another. So, I mean, that's the rough life of Odessa, Bobby. There's Jenna. There's another restaurant. I don't remember this one, but see, so it's very nice, very cheap because they can't afford it. So it's a very cheap place. This is a different place on the Black Sea we were at. So you get the champagne and oysters in there and lemon. And that was great. So you would definitely like it, Bobby. It's a very nice place. Carmen is the one you haven't seen in person yet, right? No, Daria is the one I haven't met because of Russia. Carmen, I've met. Here, I'll show you Carmen. That's us in Las Vegas. There's Carmen. Yeah, it's us at the pool. I think this is at the Wynn. And then she was posing. She's a model, so she likes the way I take her pictures. So all the guys were coming up to her, asking her out. And she said, I'm just being friendly. This is at the Paluzio or whatever's next to the Wynn. That's where they had a better pool there, so we would go there. So that's Carmen. So yeah, I took her to Vegas. We went to LA, New York, which I didn't really like, and I'm scared going to New York. I don't like the liberals too much. She's not another Kenzie, but is she? No, I actually meet Carmen. Carmen wants to come, but I'm kind of torn right now because I'm waiting for Daria to go to meet her in Turkey. So it's not like I can bring Carmen here. She wants to come here. We would go to Vegas. I told her I'm working remote, so why don't we go to Vegas for a month? But I can't find it. It's so fucking expensive because I still got to pay my rent. So I'm thinking I pay $1,500 a month here. I said, well, if I can find a like a 2-bedroom apartment in Vegas, that's $1,500 a month. I'll stay there for the month. I'll still work, but then it'll be a lot earlier. So then when I'm done at 2:00 in the afternoon, we got all afternoon and night, and then all weekend to play around in Vegas. So I said, well, why don't we do that? I can't find a $1,500 apartment there. It's crazy because of all the LA people. So I got to search around. I was hoping to stay at a cheaper hotel for that, but like I did when I moved back from Alabama, but I'm still looking. But then since I haven't met Daria, I want to meet her. So she's first on the list. And then Jenna, I've invited here, but she doesn't seem to want to come. So she keeps wanting to go on vacation there. And I'm like, I don't want to keep flying for a week. And then you left early last time, so I'm kind of hemming and hawing with her. And then Carmen wants to come, send the visa. I said, well, let's see what happens with BRICS. And, I don't want to be caught off guard where I might need my gold, or I might need to go to Turkey to get Daria. Daria might be our silver lining because um, she might be able to get gold in Russia for us. So we'll have to keep her open, Bobby, to be our contact in Russia so we can get the BRICS money and gold, Russian gold there. So we'll keep that up. But no, she's not a Kenzie. Kenzie, I don't know who it is, right? It's somebody who I text, but I don't know. Carmen, no, I've met several times on several vacations. And no, I know Carmen. You love oysters. Yeah, you like oysters. Yeah, they're not bad. Especially with the champagne on the Black Sea like that. That was Jenna's. She wanted them. Not bad at all. That Carmen's the model. Yeah, she's actually a real model. She's done some shows, but I don't think she gets that. Actually, I took her when I went to New York. We went to one of the buildings, has a modeling agency, and it was a Friday, and we went and to try to meet the modeling people so she could interview with them. We were just kind of going there. They said, no, you got to come on Thursday. And I said, shit, if you would have told me, we would have went a day earlier, and then she could have went and gave her portfolio to the modeling people in New York on the Thursday. So she's done some shows in Italy, Milan, and stuff like that. So no, she's an actual model. She's a pain in the ass sometimes, but I'm her photographer, so she likes that because I center her. And here's our favorite picture. It's this. It's in Vegas. I gotta find it. This is in Cannes in France, and there's a bunch of yachts. And we saw this boat. I said, "Go on the boat. What are they going to do? We'll just take a picture of you on the boat, and what are they do? So they'll throw you off. All we want is a picture." So she went up there, and I took the picture. And I think somebody came out of one of the cooks, and we said, we're just taking a picture." And they were like, "That's fine." Nobody cared. That was kind of cool. And here we're on south of France. It was 100 degrees every day. So she's wearing that. I'm sweating in my t-shirt because it was so fucking hot. But this is Cannes or Nice or Monte Carlo. I don't remember. This is in Monte Carlo. So see the casino. So I wanted to play poker in the real casino of Monte Carlo, not the Vegas one. They didn't have poker. Then they wanted to charge like €10 to get in. I said, fuck it. I'm not paying €10 to go into a casino. So that's what the casino looked like from the outside. So she likes posing. It's like, I'll take a picture and she loves it. So, but she knows, she says, American girls don't know how to dress and they don't know how to walk. I says, well, why don't you teach them? Then I saw a Ferrari. I says, well, you got to take a picture next to a Ferrari. So this is Monte Carlo, Monte Carlo. This is the real Monte Carlo. So she looks good in front of anything. Where is that one? Here's her in New York in front of the bull. Universal Studios. So we went to LA. There's one I want to, there's a fountain at Caesars. Here it is. This is my all-time favorite. See the fountain in the back here? There's the escalator going down. We're in the Caesars Forum shops. So she's there and the water's coming down and then she's sitting. That's my favorite picture, but because I like the fountain and everything and all the fountains there. So that was my favorite picture, but more because of the fountains in Vegas. That's Carmen the model. No, I lived in a hotel when I came back. So I'm in Alabama for 6 months working at Toyota, which I hated, and I hated the people in Alabama. They're all like Roll Tide, and I'm like, who the fuck are you guys, Roll Tide? I'm from Michigan. We don't sit there and say go blue and to everybody because there's Michigan State people here, and a lot of people root for Ohio State, and they're all Roll Tide, but they're real sarcastic about it, and they're real got their heads up their ass. And you know me, I hated it. And I loved when Georgia beat them. It was when Georgia beat them for the championship. And I called it. And nobody said, good pick, Howard. And it's like, fuck you guys. I had Georgia over Alabama in the title, and they won. So anyway, always betting the defense. So I'm coming home. So I drive home like the beginning of April for the interview I have here, and I don't have a place to stay. So I could have stayed at the Comfort Inn for a month at $65 a night, or there was a Marriott Suites where it was $100 a day. And I chose the Suites because I thought, oh, it's got a kitchen and a big refrigerator, and I'll cook a lot because I cook. And it was stupid because you don't unpack because you're only there a month. Fortunately, I had the interview, I got the job, and then I came here. Not my first choice. I probably never would stay here, but because the job was a mile away and I didn't have any place, and some people were turning me down because I wasn't working, so then I had to take a place to take a place. So yeah, it's probably $100 more, but I didn't care. But I had the job a little bit away. So yeah, so I stayed at the Marriott Suites for the month of April for $100 a month, which is a mistake. I would recommend staying at the Comfort Inn for $69 a night because you're not going to unpack. The only problem is it really didn't. I thought I would cook more, but I didn't. I think I cooked a steak once and made some salad, but I could have done that anyway. There was that little fridge that they put in the room. But otherwise than that, it would have been worth it. But then it was just one room. Well, they both were just one room. But there was a washer dryer at the Marriott and everything. So it cost me a little bit more. It cost me like $3,000 for the month versus $2,500. But you didn't really have a choice. So that's what I did. Well, thank you, Bobby. Yeah, no, I got a lot of nice. All the girls I got, that's why I want Daria. I got pictures of Daria, but I'd like to I'll show you Daria. There's Daria. Little snow bunny. A little bit more of her. So I just need vacation pictures with Daria. That's her at the grocery store. So she's the one with the teeth. So I gave her money for the implants. So I got to see how those worked. But anyway, so that's, you know, so I'm good friends with all of them. And, so it's kind of, why would I get married and then not be like Irina? I think I've shown you Irina. She's the best of the bunch. This is Irina. She's the Romanian one, and just beautiful. And she tells me, she says to me, there's us together in Romania years ago. I always do that so I can say, look, I really do know her. I really did meet her. She says to me, I'm just a regular girl. Now, Bobby, would you call this a regular girl? I go, what planet are you talking about? You're just a regular girl. This is my favorite. I'm just a plain Jane, normal girl. And I'm like, are you kidding? So we're like really close, and I'm her guardian angel. And she says to me, it's okay if you're with another girl and you can't talk to me. I understand. I says, why would I do that? So I told her I would never be with a girl that wouldn't let me talk to her. I would explain it to them. This is a very close friend, and I help her, and her dad died, and I paid for the funeral and everything else. I says, but I am much better off with her in my life than without it, even though she's married and just had a kid. I'm better off as her friend than not having her. And that's kind of my point. So what I was saying to the guy in the hot tub I'm getting married, well, what if you meet Irina? You meet Irina, you're not going to be interested in Irina? Oh, I'm married. I won't talk to another girl. And I'm thinking, there's no way you're not talking to Irina. That's really the point I'm trying to press is you have the other girls, because if you meet Irina and you're married, you're not going to be married anymore. You're going to go to Irina. That's my point. And you can't control that. You see that. I don't care who you're with. You're not with them anymore. You're with Irina. Now Irina's married, so I'm not with her, but she loves me. We talk every day. And she just had the baby and everything else. And she asked me for questions. I told her I'm going to bring her some gold. She just had the baby. She says, why don't you come in November? I can bring her some gold and meet the baby. So it's on her, she wants to. I've met her. Wow, you saw that. So that's good. But she knows about Jenna to a point. She doesn't know about Daria, but there's no point in bringing up the other girls to her. So we don't talk, and she doesn't bring up her husband to me. She never brings him up. She says, I don't want to talk to him I don't want to talk about him with you. I want to talk about us. So her mom likes me. I've sent her mom Christmas gifts, and I sent her Christmas gifts. I sent her a big thing with coffee and candy and a big bowl tin and coffee in it and everything. I said, well, how do you explain it to your husband? She says, I just tell him I want it at work. So, but she's fine with it. She's very happy I get her stuff. And I always give her a birthday gift, which I just sent. And then she needed, here's our example, the baby had a rash. She says, can you give me some money to pay the doctor? And I don't even think. I just send it. Here's $100, which is more than enough. And I says, I've got your back. So, unless it's $20,000, I'm going to take care of you. So she understands that. And I've always come through for her. She was a Kenzie at first, where she kind of played around with me, but then she realized what I was. And then she I says, we can't, there's no more lies. And she said, I won't. And she doesn't lie to me. She used to be a good Kenzie, but not anymore. And that's what I try to explain to Kenzie. This is what you're missing, right? I go, you're not in Irina's league, Kenzie. You don't understand that. You're not in her league, so you should realize that. I got one picture. I don't know if it's on my phone of her in a bikini. Yeah, kind of. How about that, Bobby? Now, if this girlfriend you're talking to looks like that, I could say, yeah, okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, okay, you got me. And then I sent her to Egypt when her dad died, so she sent me that. So it was kind of cute. She's very smart. I told you she's the one that designed my card. She's great in marketing, but there's not a lot of jobs in Romania. She's the one that designed this card, my Teaserking card. And very smart. You want her on your side. You don't want her against you. Put it that way. Yeah, I'm going to be laying that smack down soon. Yeah, and she's Romanian. You can see the difference between the Russian girls and the Romanian girls. Then try to find an American girl that looks like that. You just can't. And they're very nice and they're very loving. And I always say to Irina, you have my back. Here's the difference between Irina and Carmen. I have Irina's back and she knows it. And she would have my back. Carmen is not smart enough to understand to let me have her back. And I don't think she's too selfish. She wants me to buy her a computer. You're like, fuck, I ain't buying you a computer. I would buy Irina one, but not Carmen. But Carmen only cares about Carmen. That's my problem with Carmen, where Irina cares about me. That's the big difference. Yeah, I could almost bet that items look better than his wife, too. Yeah, absolutely. Kenzie might be watching this now crying. Well, I hope she is, because this is my point. When you meet these girls, and they're mostly in Ukraine, Russia, and Romania, the American girls can't compete. That's why I'm pissed about this stupid war between the Ukraine. I can't fly to the Ukraine because the airports aren't open. I can't fly to Russia because I can't get a visa, and the airplanes aren't going to Russia. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So that's why I'm even talking to Kenzie, just to get an American one. But they're all they care about is money. Where, like I said, I'm helping Jenna now go to Berlin to meet her friend. But it's not, $5,000. I mean, it's a couple hundred here and there. So I help Daria with her implants. Okay, a couple $100. Fine. I believe it. And she shows me, here, look at my teeth. And so I don't doubt that they're telling me the truth. If I did, that's Kenzie. I doubt she's telling me the truth. But this is what competition is. If Kenzie wants to fuck around with me, I say, fuck you, Kenzie. I know you're a model. I know you're attractive, but fuck you. You're not real. I don't know who you are. You won't call me or text. Look at all the pictures I got on WhatsApp of my girls. Where Kenzie doesn't have one. She doesn't text me like they do. She uses Telegram, but she won't send a picture and she won't call me. And I don't know it's even her. I know Irina's Irina and Carmen and the girls. I know when I send Daria money for her teeth, I know it's her. I know it's going to her. I'm not worried that she's FSB or KGB or anything, and it's not really her I'm sending it to. So I know I'm helping them. That's why I have an issue with like Phil saying don't send. I wouldn't send them money. Oh, I love these girls. These are my friends. I'm going to help my friends if I can. What the fuck? What? I don't get what's wrong with that. And that's one of the issues I had with the guy. But see, I don't care if Kenzie's watching and it's going, wow. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Kenzie's not playing. She's not playing. She wants to play by her own rules that don't make any sense. So I'm not playing those rules. Either you play my rules, which is to Skype me so I can at least see that you're real. But if you don't want to do that, then I can't play the rules. So that's why I don't play with Kenzie's rules. She's really the only one, or these American girls that fuck around with you. Give me money, but I won't Skype you. I won't Teams you. Well, fuck you. These are real people that I get on WhatsApp and I go on vacations with and all that stuff. So that's why I'm kind of waiting to go on a vacation with Daria, and I've showed her Vegas pictures. And I said, well, we'll go here when you finally get here. Her sister lives in Maryland or something. So what happens is I send the sister the money because you cannot send money from here on PayPal, on Western Union, anything to Russia. They won't take it. So I send to the sister. She has a Russian bank account. So she'll take the U.S. money I give her, and then somehow she's able to exchange it, and then she sends Daria the rubles. And Daria's having a field day because we've calculated the expenses at $60 to the US dollar, and it's now like $100. So her prices didn't go up. So her rent's still whatever it was, but now I'm giving her the same amount, but it's worth a lot more to her in rubles. So she's having a good time. And I'm like, well, that's what I agreed to. I don't mind letting her have some fun. God knows what it's like to live in Russia. I know what it's like to live in Ukraine, and I know what it's like to live in Ukraine without money or with money. And Russia is probably, I've been there, but nobody wants to live in a communist state. I guarantee you that. It's between the mafia running everything. The mafia basically controls everything. So if you say the wrong word or you sneeze the wrong way, you're fucked. So that's where we're going with this whole Biden crap and all the stuff. This is what I worry about here. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll move to Switzerland or move to Portugal or get the fuck out of here. Hey, Luke, what's shaking? You're missing all my girlfriends, so you gotta rewind about a half hour. And anyway, so that's where we're at. But I'm definitely worried about America. We're so fucked here. And the biggest keys are running the money, right? The money's going to zero. I know that, but they keep printing the fucking stuff. And they, we'll raise interest rates to 5%. That's not going to stop inflation. You're fucked. Look at Venezuela. Look at Turkey. Look at all these countries that have high inflation. Look at Zimbabwe. So it's all coming to a head. Japan's fucked, and Britain is fucked. Canada's fucked, and the Eurozone's fucked. They're all fucked. They're like, it's draining out, but it still looks okay. And then they paint the picture, oh, inflation's down, don't worry, and we're not going to have a recession. And look at the stock market booming. That's because they're printing money, putting the money in the stock market, and they're pulling money out of the banks, and they go to the stock market for safe haven because it's all attack on Wall Street. What do? They go to their broker, their stock financial planner, and I will bet anybody $10,000 that if they went to a financial planner, stockbroker, you would not hear go into gold because they don't make commissions on it. I was watching Attack on Wall Street again, and the guy's just saying it's all phony. We don't care about you guys. We want our commissions. And they'll never put you in gold because there's no commission in gold, even though if they really cared and wanted you to make money is where they would put you. And as you would say, Bobby, I just shake my head because it's no risk because nobody can print it. You're going to turn your silver from $25 to $2,000. Well, what is that? 10,000% return with no risk. You're going to be in stocks, and you think the stocks are going to make that? You think bonds? You can't buy a house. You can't go buy a house. You think real estate's the answer? Go buy a house. How much is it going to cost you? And you think you're going to make any money on it? No. The only way you make money on a house right now is wait till it collapses, when it goes from 500,000 to 100,000, and then you buy it. That's how you make money on real estate and inflation. And you're going to pay with an ounce of gold, and therefore you won't even have a mortgage. That is the only way you're going to make money in real estate now, because it's not going to go up in value. How can it? With the interest rates going up, you can't. What did I show you? Venezuela's interest rates, what, like 60, 70%, somewhere in that neighborhood for a mortgage? What's the Venezuela mortgage? It was like 60%. 60% interest rate on a Venezuela. Go buy a house in Venezuela. It's coming here. That's the point. There is no safe. The only safe haven's gold, but nobody will tell you that. I get so frustrated because we'll put you in a real estate trust because, of course, they're going to pay their mortgages, aren't they? Oops, I guess they're not, because they're not qualified. They didn't have good credit scores to qualify for a mortgage, but we gave them a loan anyway. And then you bought a RIT and you got fucked. And I see that Barry guy from The Big Short, and he's in the stocks. And as soon as I read that, I go, these people have no fucking clue what they're about to get hit by. You do not want to be in stocks because it's money. The recession that we're going to get is going to make 1929 look like a fucking party. And the money's going to zero. It should have went to zero. It started in 1971 when we were no longer backed by gold. Keep in mind, from the 1800s to 1912, we had gold in the money. That's why we're fine. And then when the Federal Reserve comes in and they take, they start printing and printing and printing, which is causing the 1929 to 1940 depression, was all because of the Federal Reserve. And in 71, we're off of it. And finally, it's okay, we're done kicking the can. We're fucked. We're finally fucked because BRICS is coming out and saying that. And these people don't understand, well, we're the reserve currency. We're fine. We're not fine. We're inflated. It goes to zero. And when it goes to zero, sorry, but your stocks aren't going to be worth shit. Your bonds certainly aren't going to be worth shit. Your real estate will be okay if you don't sell it, but you can't sell it if you wanted. If you wanted to sell it, you can't, or you're going to take this huge loss. And if you want to get, if you need money, you're going to be taking gold for it. So we're going to be on the other end going, we got gold. Warren Buffett, who has $2 billion, is going to get fucked because his dollars are going to be worth zero. And all the shares of GM he just bought, well, they're going to be zero because ain't nobody buying cars with this interest rate. I know. I went to get my oil changed at Toyota, and the guy says, we can't sell anything. He says, everything just sits here. Nobody's coming in to buy cars. Of course not, because the interest rate's so high. And it's just it's going to go higher and higher. And there's nothing that the Federal Reserve or the central bank can do. They're fucked. The only way you can save the currency, if I was the Federal Reserve chairman, would be to bring along gold. Okay, we're backed by gold. That would save it. That's it. And they're not smart enough to do that because JP Morgan wants the dollar because that's what he prints. So they think in their warped minds, they'll just keep printing dollars. And if they just keep printing dollars, that'll solve everything. And as we know, it won't. It'll just make them worth less and less and less until the boat's in the middle of down at the bottom of the Atlantic. Then you'll realize you've sunk. The Titanic, it can't sink. What are you talking about? And then now you're at the bottom of the Atlantic. Well, that's what they think with the dollar. Well, it can't go to zero. If you keep printing it like this, sure as fuck can and sure as fuck will, which is what's happening. Luke, I set the alarm thing, but it hasn't worked. I'm sorry. That happens to Bobby too. Love what you're speaking mostly. Well, thank you, Luke. Bobby Bo. I'm worried that the BRICS thing is going to be a dud. Don't worry about it. Alligator confirmed it. They're going to talk about. Here's the reason, Luke. All these countries want to get out of the US dollar, and the only way to do it is to go into gold. And they got all the gold. China, 60,000 tons, Russia, 25,000 tons. India's got gold. South Africa's got gold. Saudi Arabia's got gold. So understand the reasoning is they want to get out of the dollar. So they want to go to gold. It's not like they're forced to. And if it was one country, they'd be afraid of the US. But because it's all these countries and it's Russia and China, and we don't want war with Russia and China, that's why. So it will not be a dud. They're going to announce it next week. And they might just say, we're coming out with a currency backed by gold. How much do you want them to say? It's already there. The Russians have already got the dollar. They've already made it. It's already ready to get in. They're going to announce it. I don't know why they even need to announce it. Just come out with it. It's like announcing that the British pound's going to zero. Well, we could announce it, or it's just going to happen. But that's what's happening. So 81 countries want to get out of the US dollar, and they're going to join BRICS because they're coming out with a BRICS dollar backed by gold. That's the key to it. So not only does it do that, it gets the gold price way up, but it gets them out of the dollar, which is what they want. So they don't want to keep being bullied and sanctioned by the US. That's the key that you must look at, not, well, they won't, because you're reading it because of the bullshit that you're reading, which is saying, well, it's not on the agenda, or India says we won't go with it. Putin's running it, and Putin has said, yes, we are going on it, and it's a sure bet. It's like one of my good football picks. It's a lock. It's going to happen. It's in the works, and they want to do it, and all these countries want out of the U.S. They want nothing more than to see the U.S. collapse. We'll be sitting there with our hands up our ass. Why is our dollar worthless? Why can't I go to the store and why can't I go to Kroger's and why is this no good anymore? And then we'll come out with a new dollar, and we'll blame Putin near the end of the year, and we'll say, okay, this is worth 50 cents on this dollar. And people will go, oh, okay. And if it ain't backed by gold, it'll be toilet paper in 6 months also. Once this goes, the public once the public loses confidence in the dollar, it's gone. And then to come out with a new dollar, you have to have the public confidence, which means gold. Not CBDCs is not going to be the public confidence, and nobody's going to want to fucking buy it because they're worried about control. Now, will they be able to control us? Fuck no, especially if we have gold and silver. We got gold and silver. We'll just cash it in and go. And if we have to go to Switzerland to do it, we go to Switzerland to do it. Or if I got to go talk to Daria in Russia and say, here's some gold, let's cash it in, because they won't take US dollars, we'll do that. I mean, there's a way to cash it. There's a way to get the money, and we'll figure it out. That's what I'm here for. But believe me, everybody wants gold. I give gold to Jenna. She's very happy to get it. She knows what it is in the Ukraine. Irina's waiting for her gold. I said, I got it. I got your back. Don't worry. And I'll go like November and meet the baby, and I'll have some gold for her. So they're very smart. They understand gold in Europe, and we'll find a place to sell it if we can't sell it. We should be able to sell it here. The problem is, what money are we going to get? I don't want to sell an ounce of gold for 50 grand and get this shit. I don't want this shit. I want to get away from this shit. So it might be worth it. That's why we might have to, figure out how to get to Russia to get BRICS currency. I heard BRICS currency is going to be 50. One BRICS is going to be 50 US dollars. When that happens, it's all over, because how can it be worth 50? How can one BRICS be worth 50 US dollar? I don't know. I just heard that. I don't know. I don't buy it at this point. I want to believe it. It's been forever. I did buy another American Eagle ounce today. Good for you, Luke. Yeah, the price is going. It's on sale. The price is going down. But it won't be a dud. And even if it is a dud, let's say it's a dud, they're killing the dollar anyway. The $32 trillion in debt kills the dollar, because then how do you pay the interest? And you got to pay the interest, because the interest is the different countries. It's China, it's Japan, it's Britain, it's Canada, it's Germany, it's all these different countries, and then it's a lot to us. So you can't just ignore that you have debt. So you got 32 trillion. The more you print to pay the debt, to pay the interest on it, as Powell raises the rate to 5.5, it's $1 billion a day. Where are you going to get the money? Nobody's buying the treasuries here, so it's print. So you print it, the values it. The Keynesians don't understand that. The Keynesians think they'll just keep printing, but it loses its value. 1920s Germany, they printed $1 billion a day, and back then it was a lot of money. Didn't help them. So gold's the key. Gold will be able to buy a nice house, a nice Mercedes. We'll have plenty of food. I mean, at worst case, you take like your silver and you go to a farm, you find a farm, and you go buy eggs, and you buy veggies and fruit. Although I don't think the grocery stores are going out of business anytime soon. You think Costco's is just going to close up, and Kroger's and Target and Meijer's and all these stores are just going to close up? I don't think so. So they'll still be here. So we take the silver to buy currency that can be used at the grocery store, and we use our debit card. So nothing's going to change. I love when I'm in the pool and the guy says, well, I can't take gold to the grocery store. And I go, what are you going to take? You ain't taking this shit. I says, you can't take the green stuff, because this is not going to have a value. So if you think you're going to go spend this at the grocery store, when the shit hits the fan, you're out of your mind. This will be worthless. The silver will buy you whatever new currency. And that's what's going to happen. So they'll have to come out with a new currency. They're not ready for a digital currency. And it depends what it is, but I'm not going to take it. We'll figure out a way. I mean, the best way would be take your silver to a farm, and the farm will take it. And, there should be places that sell meat and chicken and that. And then how are you going to pay your bills? And what's the balance on your credit card when this goes out? I think it's zero, isn't it? Just how are you going to pay? There's no money. So there's going to be they're going to have to come out with a new money, because you got to pay your rent. You got to pay your car payment or car insurance or gas or food or utilities. You need a form of money to do that. So when this goes to zero, they'll have to come out with a new one to do all those exchanges. Then they'll have to come out and say, well, the new one's 50% of this. So if this was $100, you give me 100, I give you 50 of the new ones. And that's what should happen. And then you won't be able to touch the BRICS currency, because it's backed by gold. It'll be worth $1,000 will buy you one brick. However, gold will buy you much more. It'll have to be a new note. Keep your eye on Canada and Japan and Europe. The euro. They're all coming out with new dollars in 2024. They're those plastic type of dollars. It won't be paper, it'll be plastic. But that's what they're coming out with. They'll just blame Russia or Putin, and they'll be worth less than this, but that's the point of the financial system. You need a medium of exchange to go buy stuff, right? That's why we have this, right? So I can go to the grocery store and buy groceries, and I give them this. Now, I might give it to them in a debit or credit card. I might give it to them in cash, but I'm basically giving them that for my groceries. You can never get away from this. Look at the Romans, look at the French, the Spanish, the English. They were that reserve currency, and then they went away. Well, I go to Canada, I use Canadian money. I go to, what did I just went to Barcelona, I use the euro. So it's whatever money there is to go shopping and pay your bills. That's why it's theirs. You have to have it. You have to have the medium of exchange because and it's got to be common. That's why Bitcoin will never be anything, because it's not a medium of exchange. It's not accepted. You don't know what the value is. So it can never, if I can't use it at the grocery store, it's not money, right? Therefore, it's not a medium of exchange. It's a baseball card in my mind, except for you don't actually get the card. So what the fuck do I want it for? Where are you getting the value of 29,000? Where does that come from? Not supply and demand, not free market. So who knows? Maybe it is more free market, but that's the problem with it. So you must have the medium of exchange. And the point is, the medium of exchange has to be backed by gold. If it's not backed by gold, it's not worth anything. And that's what ours is. Ours is not backed by anything, as all the currencies in the world are not backed by anything. That's why BRICS is saying ours is going to be backed by gold. We want to take over. And that's why I'm telling you not to worry about BRICS is a dud. It'll never be a dud, because Russia and China hate us and they don't want to deal with the dollar. It's like the bully who's forcing you to give him money for lunch or something. You don't want to deal with them. So eventually you find a bigger guy and you beat up the bully. You don't want to keep getting bullied by the bully. Well, we're the bully. If you don't do this, we're going to go to war. We're going to destroy you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to sanction you. We're going to raise interest rates on you. And they're all like, we're so sick of it. They're all telling us to fuck off. And before you couldn't really do it because of our military and everything else. Now it's all fucked up. That China and Russia are stronger than us. Our military is basically gone. We gave all our weapons to Ukraine. All the Stinger missiles are gone. They can't just make it. It's not like there's a warehouse with Stinger missiles at Raytheon or General Dynamics. We took them. We gave them to Ukraine. They don't have them anymore. How are we going to go to war? What are we going to nuke China? Really? That ain't happening. We are not going to China or Russia. This is our war with Russia. We let Ukraine fight it. This is the American military now. Why we would keep doing this is beyond me. Zelensky's a crook. He's just taking the money and pocketing it. So we give 40 million to the Ukraine, or 40 billion. It all ends up in Biden's hands, and the government, and in Zelensky's hands. That's who it ends up in. It's not being used for the military. It's all over. Russia won. They're just waiting to get the final score, but it's a done deal. And we don't have a military anymore because we don't have any weapons. We've used it all here. What are we going to do? All we have is nukes. And do we really want to nuke one of these countries that are going to nuke us back? Then nobody wins. So that's where we're at with it. So they're not scared, especially all these countries joining Russia and China. From what I hear, Putin's really not a crazy man like Hitler or Stalin. He's actually a pretty smart guy who knows what he's doing. He doesn't want to kill the Ukrainian people because they're going to be Russians, and he's not going to go into Poland or Romania or anywhere like that. He's just taking back Crimea, I don't know about Odessa. He's just taking back what was Russian cities, Kharkov, the Donetsk region, the other I can't think of the one at the bottom on the Black Sea. Anyway, so that's all he's doing. He's not looking to invade Poland or anywhere else. He just doesn't want NATO on his doorstep. So that's what he's doing. And anyway, so that's what you got. So our military is not going to. So if BRICS wants gold back currency like Saddam Hussein, the difference is we blew up Saddam Hussein. We're not going to blow up Russia and China and India and all these other countries. And there's, I think, about 80 of them now joining BRICS or whatever you call it. The Shanghai group. That's like Singapore and Hong Kong. You know, you mention gold, everybody wants to be part of it because you can't fuck with gold. You can't print it. And you can't, there's no interest rates to worry about. If you have gold, you don't have interest rates because you don't need them. If the money's priced in gold, my mortgage is zero. I want to borrow $20,000 in gold to buy a house. Here you go. And I'm going to get paid back in $22,000 in gold. I won't lose any value because you can't print it. That's how it should be, right? And if they think, and then the bonus is they think that the gold won't be, there's not enough, so we got to raise the price. Because with all the BRICS countries, well, gold really needs to be priced at $50 an ounce or $30,000 an ounce, not $2,000. So they'll move the price of gold up. So there'll be enough to go around to the whole world. And we go, that looks good for us. And then we just got to figure out how to sell it in what currency. See, our problem is going to be, okay, it's up there, but we don't want US dollars. So how are we going, we have the gold. We want to go to Kroger's or Target or Meijer's or wherever, but we don't want this. So what do we do? And that's where we get on a plane and go to Switzerland and meet Egon and say, Egon, we gotta give us some Swiss francs so we have some real money. Or whatever the real money will be. They'll come out with real money. It's the system. You have to have real money to have an economy, to have, and guess what doesn't function when you don't have money is the government, because they won't get paid. They'll be out of business. So that's why who's going to issue the CBDCs? You won't have a government if you don't have money. Doesn't work. How are they going to pay for all their bullshit? So they'll have to come out with a new currency. You must have a medium of exchange. It's the only way an economy works. The only way a government works. The only way we can live is a medium of exchange. So it'll be switched to something else. But the gold will give us a huge advantage because it'll be worth a ton based on what BRICS is going to do for us. So that's why don't worry about that. You're fine. It's going to go up. It's not up because of COMEX, which will be blown up. And guess what? The BRICS is not going to listen to COMEX. They're going to have their own gold price. COMEX is the one that's going to have to adjust to what the BRICS call it. And they have to call it higher with all the countries. So they call it 25,000. BRICS, guess what? COMEX has to go to 25,000. They can't stay at 2,000. So they're at 2,000 and BRICS is at 20,000. So everybody's going to buy the 2,000 and sell it for the 20,000. How long is that going to last? How much gold is in COMEX? Not a lot, because all the big bars are in the banks and the central banks in the BRICS countries. So there is not a lot of gold left. U.S. has zero, so the U.S. is fucked anyway. But that's the whole problem with it. Not the U.S. Federal Reserve note. Yes, preach it. Yes. Do you think that the BRICS summit will be the trick for the piece of gold, for the price of gold? Yeah, exactly. That's what I keep saying. So they announced it next week that they're going on a gold-backed currency. They might just say a commodity-backed currency because they want to be gentle. They don't want to cause a panic in the U.S. or whatever. And they'll just say commodity-backed. But we already know it's gold-backed. It's there. It's not an if. It's not maybe. It's Georgia's going to win the title. Georgia's gonna beat TCU. It's not if they will beat them. They will beat them. And BRICS are coming out in gold because they can't. There's no other currency they can do. They can't come out with a yuan. Nobody's in their right mind is going to trust China or Russia. So if I'm India, I am not trusting Russia. I can only trust a currency backed by gold. Then everybody trusts it. That's why after World War II, everybody came into what was that thing, 1944, because the U.S. said, we'll control it, but the currency will be backed by gold. And everybody said, oh, okay, that's fine. We'll do that. But as soon as we got out of, what was it, Bretton Woods. So as soon as we got out of Bretton Woods in 71, what happened? Everybody started, we don't want to be in the dollar. We only were in it because of the gold, but you've gotten rid of the gold. We got off the gold to pay for Vietnam and all these social programs because we went from a republic to a capitalistic republic to a socialist country. Well, we got to pay and help the poor, and we got to do this, and we got to tax you to death and grow the government and steal from you. That's basically what happened. How can we steal from you? Oh, well, we can't do it with gold because we can't print. We can only print as much gold as we have. Do you realize on the U.S.'s books, they got gold valued at $42 an ounce for some reason? Like, who the fuck's running this thing? What are they thinking? And the 2000 is not the correct price because that's the COMEX diluted with paper price. That's what I'm saying. As soon as the COMEX dilution gets out of it, that price goes through the roof, $20,000 or $30,000, because COMEX keeps printing derivatives, diluting the real physical. But once they get the fuck out of it, that's why I keep arguing with these Peter Schiffs and all these other idiots. Well, gold might hit 2,500. No, it's not at 2,000. Get the dilution out of it. Just get to the physical. It's worth 20,000, 30,000 easy. With all this inflation, if you had the real price of gold, it would be, how could it not be 20,000 by now? You fucked this up. This is worthless. And the less this is worth, the more gold is worth. So how is gold not going up when this is getting hammered by inflation? So anyway, yeah, BRICS is one of them. Our own inflation, our own debt. There's 10 different black swans for gold. So, but BRICS will definitely should be the start of it. If they even cover it, though. Do you think CNN and MSNBC are even going to cover there was a BRICS summit? You're only going to find it on YouTube, and I will show you whatever I can find between the alligator and eagle and Mark McGuire and the boys. I will tune in with that, but that you're not going to see it on CNN and CNBC and MSNBC and Fox. None of those will show you what the fuck's going on. And that's the problem. So nobody here will know, oh, they went to a gold-backed currency. My friend woke me up Saturday morning with it, and she got it off a guy on TikTok, and there was like 8 million views. So nobody's really seeing it. I don't play with TikTok. It's Chinese. I don't like it. So that's the problem. Will YouTube allow it? I don't know. Will Twitter allow it? I don't know. It's not advantageous to the U.S. because we're the ones who are going to get crushed because our dollar is not backed by gold. So we go to zero. So they don't really want to show it. And we don't have 8,000 tons of gold in Fort Knox. We have zero. It's already, as they call rehypothecated, it's already sold out, right? So it's sold to other countries. We don't have any. So if gold goes up to 20,000 an ounce and we got 0 ounces, sort of like Warren Buffett, he's got 0 ounces. He's got $2 billion. $2 billion goes to zero. I got no gold. I'm fucked. Geez, I thought you were a smart investor, Warren Buffett. I don't think so. Gold, silver has been crushed spot in the last few days. Well, it's the derivatives. It's JP Morgan writing options and derivatives of no silver, no physical. It's totally 100% illegal. How they let it go away is because they're the ones printing it, and they're the ones who run the government. They won't prosecute themselves. It's like if me and you and Bobby were running the government and I'm printing money for you and Bobby, and you're the ones who are going to prosecute me. Well, you're not going to prosecute me. I keep printing you guys money. So you're not going to prosecute. You're going to fine me, but you're not going to put me in jail, because who's going to print you guys the money? Well, that's what's happening. So they won't prosecute themselves. So even though it's highly illegal, they just keep letting it happen. And unfortunately, that's why the gold price is at $2,000 and not $20,000. It's the only thing that's really not at free market. As I said, as I show you the Willie Mays card for 75,000, that's free market. And if that's 75, I think gold should be at least that over the Willie Mays card. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think we have the gold because of Trump, in my opinion. What did Trump do? I think we have the gold back of Trump no, we don't have the gold. We don't have anything. We have zero. We don't have everything's sold out. We've sold it. Canada and Britain has done the same thing. They don't have any gold in their central banks. Not necessarily like me and you have gold, but that's not being counted. Shh, don't tell anybody. What they're talking about is actual central bank. So there's 8,000 tons of gold in the central bank, but it's sold out. And they won't let anybody audit Fort Knox because there's nothing to audit. There's nothing there. So, it's like if you're dating a girl and you say, well, I got a Ferrari. Oh, let me see it. Well, you can't see it. Well, you can't see it because I really don't have it. I just made it out. So if you really had it, you'd say it. So when they say they got the gold, but they won't show it, it means they don't have it. And there's not a lot of gold supply in the world, right? Keep that in mind. There's like 200,000 tons, and between Russia, China, and everything, it's like 150,000. So there's only 70,000 tons, and what we have and people like us, there's probably not a lot of loose gold out there. The only time I can get gold is when somebody sells it to my coin store. And I go in and I'm buying, well, you see what I buy. I'm buying Maple Leafs and Cougar Hands, and I'm buying Philharmonics. Not from my guy. It's from people who have it and they're selling it. That's where you're going to see gold, is from people selling what they have. I got a 1977 Cougar Hand. Well, I guarantee you that's been long gone from South Africa. Took it back from the Vatican and Queen. Seriously. No, the gold has been sold to other, I think a lot of Hong Kong and Chinese and those countries, India, they've bought the gold. The gold's not there. So whatever you got from the Vatican and the Queen, I don't know what that is, but that's so if you're saying that Trump got gold back in, maybe, but how much, and is it still there? Knowing Biden, it's already gone. They don't take it seriously, so he could have sold it back to Hong Kong or wherever. So is it our gold, or is it the Vatican and the Queen's gold? So they might have got gold from the Queen just to borrow or something, but I've never heard that, and I don't, My guess is we have zero. So if we have this, is it even ours? So I don't know. Why would the Queen give us her gold? I mean, that doesn't make sense. They don't have any gold anyway. So it could be private. So Trump could have it in his house, but not in the central bank. So where the 8,000 is in the central bank, there's nothing there. Like I'm saying, if Trump has it in his cellar, that's not being counted. It's private. Like mine and your gold is private. So what I have is not being counted yet. I've got it. It's in America, but it's not part of what's counted is the central bank 8,000. There's nothing there. So if Trump got it, it's probably in his cellar, not in the central bank. Who knows? Well, they won't audit it. So as far as I'm concerned, I told you I met Irina. What did I do? I showed you a picture of me and Irina. Look, I met her. There she is. And that's the point. You have to prove it, so you have to show it. So here's the 8,000 tons. So if you really have it, why aren't you showing it? What does it benefit you by not showing Fort Knox? That's the point. So therefore, I don't buy that we have any. And based on what Alligator says, we don't. And I believe him. And I believe it's rehypothecated. So it's sold to other, there's 2 or 3 people that say they own it. Let's put it that way. So no, we don't have any. I mean, I wish we did because we're going to need a gold-backed currency to compete with the BRICS gold-backed currency. So we're at a major disadvantage now because the BRICS will have a gold-backed currency with all their tons, and we won't have anything, and paper cannot compete with gold. So we're going to be, right now, the ruble, $1 buys you 100 rubles. It's going to be one BRIC dollar buys you 100 US dollar. It's going to turn around. We're going to be fucked. But we'll be okay trading amongst each other. It's when we need to trade outside the country. It's when we need to trade with the BRICS countries. We're fucked. Because things are going to get a lot more expensive on our imports, anything to do with BRICS. Now, if we buy from Japan and they're not part of BRICS, then the Toyota will still be the same, priced in US dollars. But if we start buying caviar from Russia, if it's $100, it's now $5,000 to buy caviar. So you got to just be careful. That's why you got to just keep buying gold and silver. It will turn. It'll go. It'll get rid of COMEX. COMEX can't keep holding it. And even with them holding it, so in 71, it was worth $35. Now it's worth $2,000. And that's with COMEX kind of diluting it. That shows you how much of demand there is when gold is still worth $2,000 an ounce with this premium bullshit, right? So what's the real value of gold? It's much higher than 2,000. That's a diluted price, and they're still jacking it to 2,000. They still can't contain it. If it was up to them, they'd still have it at 35 an ounce. Oh, no, this is no good. See, that's what they're trying to do, is convince you that it really doesn't have a value. It's really not where to put your money, because Wall Street, what was I watching today? Something, and I think it was the attack on Wall Street, and they're talking about, no, it was just a regular YouTube thing, and they were trying to explain that how much money all the Wall Street guys make. They make $5 million. Like an analyst like me makes $5 million a year, and that shows you the scam that's being done. What does everybody do? Everybody tells you buy stocks and a little bit of bonds and maybe some real estate trust, or you buy a house. Nobody puts you in gold because there's no commission in gold. And since Wall Street's running everything, look at all the money going in that they can give $5 million to analysts and $50 million to all these managers and everything. I mean, it's so much money because everybody's going into stocks and they're making all these commissions, and they don't give a fuck if you make money or lose money. They just want the action. So every time you buy, they make more in commission. It's about them making money in the commission, not you making money on the stocks. This is why I don't play. That I know is a fixed game, right? Gold I know is fixed to a point, but the stocks, we're safer in football than we are in the stock market. Put it that way. You have no chance of winning in the stock market. You can only be in it short. Your stock happens to go up 10 points, you get the fuck out. If you're in it for the long run, you'll never, like Tesla, you're going to buy stock at Tesla at 300 an ounce, 300 a share. Well, it's down to 240 today. Oops, you just lost $60 a share in Tesla. You're going to lose another 200 once they can't sell any fucking car because they're trying to sell it way too expensive into a scenario where high interest rates are chasing people away from buying cars and houses. So what's Tesla thinking? Man, this guy's a fucking idiot. But that's how much money are you going to make in the stock market on that? You're not going to make. It's not about you making the money. It's about them getting the commission. And they never will put you in gold. Isn't something weird there that you can go to financial planners and stockbrokers? I got a free dinner and I went to this financial planner. Now I know more than they do, but I just wanted to get a free dinner and I wanted to hear I wanted to smell what they were cooking, Bobby. And I made a comment, what's your take on gold? Oh, no, it's stocks and bonds and real estate. Then we started talking inflation, and I said, inflation's at 20%. This is a couple years ago. I go, inflation's at 20%. They were saying inflation was like 5-6%. I go, no, it's 20. And that shut everybody up. Then everybody was looking to me, not the presenter. But no, you're in stocks and bonds, everybody. And people don't know, so they take advantage of the ignorance. So people know they want to invest their money because they know it's worthless and they know in the bank it's worthless. Now you've got the big threat of, even if it's in the bank, you're going to get it out. And since it's being inflated, your $100,000 in the bank's worth $60,000 in a year anyway. So how is it going to worth $60,000? Are you going to be able to get it out? And what's it going to buy once if you're able to get it out? So you're fucked. I'm hearing on the radio, and don't fall for this, 12% CDs at these banks or 10% CDs. Do not put your money in the fucking bank. It's 10%, but with the inflation, it eats it all up. So it's zero. Good luck getting it out. So you can't get it out. So why would you want to be in a bank that's about to collapse? There's going to be a ton of banks collapsing as these interest rates go up and as their bonds start failing. And then once everybody understands it, once the foreigners take their money into a safe haven, which is not the US dollar, which is their own, they'll buy gold or whatever they'll do, then all the banks go. And I think that's what the U.S. wants because they want the CBDCs. Although once all the banks goes, there won't be a government to issue CBDCs. No money, no government. And that's where we're headed. It's just idiots running. We have a bunch of idiots running the country. And from what I understand, that's how they get promoted. They're stupid. Or they're a certain type of people, or they're minorities, or they fit the profile, this whole woke thing, and they're the ones getting promoted. But they're fucking idiots. And that's what we got running this thing. Look at the guy at the border, Makakis. They keep drilling him. I keep watching. And they're calling him an idiot, and he should resign. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't answer a question. Is your name Makakis? Well, my name's really this and that and that and that. Just answer the fucking question, yes or no. You can't even do that. It's like my cousin Benny. Are they guilty? How does your clients plead? And Vinny doesn't say not guilty for 15 minutes. So that's the problem. So you got idiots in charge. That's why you're trusting idiots. That's why I'm here, because you have to understand what's going on. And fortunately, I can explain it because I know exactly what's going on. So, see, it does pay to get a master's once in a while. Not in every subject, but in mine it did. So that's really what now I was watching Milton Friedman yesterday, and they asked him, what can we do? There was inflation. This was in the 70s or something. And so one of the guys says, okay, we understand there's inflation. What do we do? And he didn't know. I was shocked. He did not say buy gold. I couldn't believe my ears that Milton Friedman said there's nothing you can do. And I'm like falling down going, buy gold. What are you, fucking an idiot, Friedman? He's a libertarian, he's for limited government, which is what I am. But I'm an Austrian economist. Adam Smith, Invisible Hand, and Say's Law and everything. And that's the real economics. That's what works. Keynesian's been proven not to work. I couldn't believe he didn't say gold. Says there's nothing you can do. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, maybe back then you couldn't buy gold. Because I know it was banned until mid-70s or something. So maybe you couldn't buy it. But I couldn't believe he didn't say it. But that could be why. Maybe that wasn't an option. But now it's the only out, right? The only out's the gold and the silver. Unfortunately, we can buy it. Fortunately, it's still cheap, and fortunately, it's still available enough for I bought 4 ounces, it was $8,000. Well, that's okay to go with the rest of the family. But I can still find it. And so on one hand, we're bitching it's 1912 and it's down. But on the other hand, you got to realize we can still get it cheap. We know it's going up, so we're going to take advantage of this bullshit price and just keep buying it. And the longer they're keeping it down, the more we can buy, because eventually you're going to see a zero after the 2000, and you're going to be mighty happy that they kept it low for us, so we who know what's going on are able to buy it. And that's how you got to look at it. In a worst case, we know this is going to zero. That's a given. Every fiat currency has gone to zero, right? So we know this is going. So your alternative is to keep your money here. And if you keep your money here, you know it's going to zero. So you have no risk in gold and silver. It can't go to zero. And if you keep it here, it is going to zero. And if you put money in the stock, we know the stocks are going to crash or the bonds are going to crash. So I'll buy Microsoft. Well, okay, good luck there. I know you want to buy gold stocks, but all the stocks are going to collapse because they're just going to sell their whole portfolio because they'll need money. Then eventually the gold stocks should go up because then people will look for safe havens and there won't be any gold to buy and it'll be very expensive. And then, yes, the Newmont Mining, their inventory goes from 1,000 an ounce for all their ounces to 50,000 an ounce. And then all of a sudden they're a lot more stronger than they've been. So yeah, but if you're holding gold, you're going to get the hit anyway on it. So you don't really need the gold stock to take advantage of the gold that goes up. Trump is gold, everything, kind of prophetic. I think Trump will be back and implement a gold standard. I don't know if Trump can win because I don't know if they want him to win. That's why he didn't win there. They just invented votes to let Biden win. Nobody voted for Biden. Biden didn't get any votes. But he won because George Soros fixed the machines and they printed the votes for him. I don't know if Trump can win because I don't know that they're going to let him win because it's not an honest election. You got to understand that when we go vote, it's not real, it's fixed. It's fixed like the gold. It's already determined who's going to win. That's why we got to get rid of Soros and we got to get rid of Kissinger. All these Nazis we got to get rid of, and that's really the problem. So Soros rigs the election. He rigs the machines. We say, oh, no, yeah, 80 million people voted for this idiot Biden and all that Trump had done. Trump's against all these nuts, and that's the problem. So they don't want him in. So he's fighting that. He's got to be smarter like the professor. See, if I was running, I was speaking of the professor on Money Heist, you've got to really be outsmart everybody. Oh, if we go to Money Heist at the end, what does he do? He switches the gold with, copper, painted over with gold. So the National Reserve of Spain is what, copper bars painted gold. He outsmarted them. He says, I'll tell everybody that it's not real gold if you kill us. The people outside know, and they know if we get killed, we're going to show videos and news that you don't have the real gold. So you've got to just leave the copper. We're keeping the gold. You got the copper, but don't tell anybody, and everybody will think you have gold. The debt crisis stopped, and the stock market went back up for Spain, at least on the show, right? And so you've got to kind of outthink everybody, and Trump's not capable of that. Trump should go in like, I'm on your side, and then when he's in, then he makes the gold standard and says, fuck you. But he doesn't know how to play like that. He's not smart. He doesn't know how to understand how to play like the professor, right? That's what we need. We need somebody smart who can say one thing and do another. All right. So if I was president, I'd say, oh no, I'm not going to go to a gold standard. And then as soon as I get in, the next thing I do is destroy the Federal Reserve and put in a gold standard and get rid of all these idiots that are, I'd fire the whole government and I'd get rid of half of it because it's too big. And I'd get rid of the Federal Reserve. That would be the first thing I'd do. Boom. You're gone. You're gone. Federal Reserve's gone. Get rid of the education. Get rid of the roads. We'll privatize everything. And by the way, we're on a gold standard. Now we're fixed. Now we got a real country again. But I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't run on it. I would just be good old boy. Yeah, whatever's best for the country, we're going to do. Yeah. But as soon as I'm in, look what Biden's doing, right? I don't even think it's really him. I think it's a double. But I think that's what he ran on, right? We're going to do this, that, and the other. And then he gets in and he the first day he's signing 80 executive orders. So he doesn't even let the process happen where the Congress is supposed to okay everything and they're supposed to vote on it. He just signs executive orders that they're not even real. They're not law. He just does everything. He's a fucking idiot. So I don't know that he went, but I don't know how you stop Soros from the fake election, from the votes that are not real. I don't know how you do. You got dead people voting. You got, it's a nightmare that we don't have freedom here. We don't have a fair election in the fucking United States. This is how bad it is, how the corruption. I'd get rid of lobbyists. I would outlaw lobbyists because they basically pay the government guys, okay, vote for Pepsi, vote for this, vote for cigarettes, whatever. And then they do that. So they get the lobbyists, here's $5 million, and now vote for me. Well, it's not what's best for the country. And that's why people run. It's for the lobbyist money. They're not doing it for us. They're supposed to run and represent us. They don't. They represent themselves and say, fuck you. I'd vote for you, Professor. Thanks, Luke. Yeah, we'd be in good shape if they didn't kill me. But yeah, that's what you need. You need a professor who can be shifty and not expose himself. Just keep it undercover. I have the tin. I have these tin back or copper back gold bars, and But even the people on the team didn't know he was switching them. They thought they were giving back the gold. They weren't giving back the gold. He switched it to copper. It was beautiful. God has his day. We will see. Well, we got Soros is like 95 and Kissinger's like 100. We got to get rid of those two right off the bat. Then Charles Schwab, we got to get rid of, and then we got to get rid of Gates and all these guys. Everybody that went to Epstein's Island with the young girls need to be executed. I mean, those are the people running the country into the ground. They think their shit doesn't smell. You can't prosecute them. They can do what they want, and they do what's best for them. They're all a bunch of henistics or whatever they're called, where they just look out for themselves. And you'll never see them teach a class. So that's the problem we have in the country. It's not, the laws are broken. It's all corrupt. It sucks. And what do we do about it? I don't know. That's why I'm looking at Portugal or Switzerland. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You can't deal with this. There's nothing you can do. That's part of the problem. We can buy gold and silver so we can protect ourselves. And that's why I yell about it, is whoever will listen, buy your gold and silver, because that's what's going to happen. And the only way out of this mess is to at least start with gold and silver. Then we could go to Switzerland, or we could go to these other countries where it's a little more peaceful, a little bit more laws, and we're out of the system. We're off the grid. We got gold and silver. Oh, I can buy whatever I want. I got plenty of assets, not including my cards, but you got that. That's how you save yourself. Everybody who has $100,000 in the bank's fucked. These people are fucked. The inflation's killing it. Good luck getting it out. We're going to give you central bank digital currency in exchange. You're so fucked. If you got $100,000 in the bank, you're done. You have no chance. Oh yeah, speak it. Yep. Well, the one thing you know about me, Luke, is I say the same thing since I saw you in Barcelona in April till now. My story never changes. This is what I know, and it's honest, and that this is the facts. So yeah, we're just waiting. Gold will go up. I'm not worried about it. Even if it doesn't, we got gold. We're still off the grid, but it will go up. There's no way it won't, because nobody wants to be bullied by the U.S. It's like if Russia was running things, would we want to be told what to do by Russia? No. We would devise a way to get out of the ruble, which would be a gold back. Gold's the key to get you out of everything. You've got gold. You don't have anybody controlling you. The gold controls you. That's it. Nobody can control it. Nobody can inflate. They can't tax you because they don't even know you have it. That's the beauty of it. I got it. There's no savings. You're going to tax my interest income. You can't tax me for anything. You don't even know I have it. If I could, I would get paid in gold as opposed to dollars. That's why when I get paid, I run to the gold store and switch it. So I guess it's the same thing, except for the taxes I pay for my paycheck. That's the biggest scam, isn't it? You go or you work and you agree you're going to make, I don't know, $5,000 a week, and for doing, finance. There's no tax. It's not income to you. It's the agreement of, I'm going to do finance. You can give me bananas for $5,000, but we choose dollars, and then I can choose what to do with the dollars. Why is there tax coming out of it? That's the Federal Reserve. That's how crooked the Federal Reserve. There shouldn't be tax. They're getting your expertise. See, that goes all the way back to Adam Smith. The the higher your skill set, the more you make. That's why when I talk to these communists and they oh, this is what I make, it's what they pay. No, you make whatever your skill is worth. Bobby made a lot because he could play baseball. I make money in finance. I'm a good golfer, but I'm not good enough to make money. But that's really the key to it is the skill pays you, but it's really barter. I go to Harley and, oh, you can do this for us, so we're going to pay you this. Where the fuck is taxes coming out? It's not income. It's I'm getting paid to barter, right? It's like, okay, Bobby, I'll give you the Canadian club. You give me an ounce of silver, right? There's no tax. It's just barter. And there's nothing wrong with barter. Barter is probably better because you get the government out of it. That's why they don't like it. They want you in the dollar so they can have a trail, and that's what we don't want. You're a good and smart, wise man. Thank you, Luke. I try to be. I appreciate your drive. Keep it up. I got paid today and bought an ounce, hoping this will pay off, thinking it will collapse soon. Just think about it like this, Luke. First, I appreciate your comments. Secondly, if you keep it in this, do you think this is going to go up in value? I mean, understanding what you understand, the more with the debt, they have to print more. And when you print more, the value drops. So if you didn't buy gold and you kept this, you'd either what? Buy a share of Apple or whatever, or you can't keep it here. So you're either going to buy stock, or you can buy gold and silver, or you're going to buy a mantle card. You're going to buy an asset because you want to get out of this. So if you keep the money in this and put it in the bank, you're dead because it's being inflated, which means it's losing value. So just the premise of the debt, and they got to print money to pay the debt. The more money they print, the less it's worth. So if it's not worth anything, then if you get paid and hold the money and put it in the bank, you're fucked right away, right? It's losing value. Then you got to hope you can pull it out of the bank. But by buying gold cannot go to zero. They can't say it's worthless. Attack on Wall Street. You can't, well, your 60 grand's worthless. The real estate trusts are worthless, or on margin call, or on Madoff. So imagine there's Madoff and you give him your 2,000. He's going to give you a percentage. It's fine until he says, oh, I'm out of business. I don't have any more money. And then everybody starts crying, oh, I lost all my money with Madoff. If you got it in gold, there is no Madoff. And all of Wall Street is Madoff. The whole fucking Wall Street is Madoff. JP Morgan's Madoff. The SEC is Madoff. The whole government's Madoff. They're all scammers. They're all just doing Ponzi schemes on you. So do you really have a choice? I mean, if you really keep your money in dollars, you're fucked, because it's not backed by anything and everybody's just after it. And what do they tell you? Buy stocks and bonds and we make commission on you, and we're going to get $5 million this year thanks to you and everybody else who doesn't understand to buy gold. That's why they don't want us in gold. That's why they keep pushing it down, going, well, you don't want to buy gold. Look, it's only 1,900 now, even though the premium's 1,000. So you think it's worthless, right? That's what you think. Well, why is gold going down? Because fucking JP Morgan's printing a ton of derivatives without physical gold, watering down the price, not the real price, not real gold. What is paper gold? Oh, this is gold. How is this gold? This isn't. You didn't give me 1,000 ounces with your derivatives, with your options. You didn't give me anything. You just had paper. There's no options. There's no real physical gold that you gave me. So what the fuck? That's the problem. So when you see it go down, it's not really going down. It's fantasy land going down. So you got to be smart enough to realize, they're just fucking around. They're printing derivatives. and they can't keep it up, and it's now a tier 1 supply, and everything Alligator says, so we know it's ending. And then between BRICS and the debt, BRICS will bring the gold up. So we're rooting for BRICS. We're actually rooting for Russia, China to announce it, and then watch the gold price go up, and they'll kill COMEX because they'll start pricing it over in that side of the world what they need it, and they'll need it much higher to support all these countries. And COMEX will have no choice but to balance it to them if there's even a COMEX. And then that's where you're going to make out. But you can't lose. You can only lose staying in the dollar. So understand, if I keep my money in green in this shit, how am I going to make money? And not only that, how am I not going to lose money? So your option is nothing. That's why I use the Titanic. The boat hit the iceberg and it's sinking. Now you can either stay on the boat and sink, or get on the gold boat where you know the gold boat can hit 20 icebergs and it's not going to sink. So you're going to sink, or you get on the other boat. And that's really as simple as I can make it, that you're fucked staying in dollars or in stocks. There's no other way out but gold and silver. So if you just do it and just relax, it'll happen. There's no time it'll happen, because the U.S. is fighting the price going up because it exposes how corrupt they are. So they don't want it out there, but the rest of the world does, and they're all going to BRICS, and they're all going to a gold-backed currency. So that's the point. They're all going there, and that's what you got to look at. And that's why it keeps going down, is we want to hide our corruption, but we can't. I mean, we're at the end, right? We're at the dead end now, so it has to go up. What do you think of PSLV, Sprott Physical Silver Trust? ETFs are not real. They're not real coins. They're not physical. They're paper. Nobody owns it. If you think you're buying it to own it, you don't. So in other words, when the shit hits the fan and you think you have 100 ounces of this ETF, you don't have anything. You don't have any physical gold. ETFs they're a Madoff, basically. This Sprott guy and Rick Rude should be in jail, because they're trying to sell it like you actually are buying physical gold or silver. You're not. ETF doesn't have any physical. They're selling you a fantasy that this is just like owning physical. We'll keep it in the vault, and if you buy 100 of these, you'll own 100 ounces of physical gold. You don't know. They're not real. The only way to buy gold and silver is go to the store and do what I do. I showed you 4 ounces, and it's in the safe. That's the only way to buy it. ETFs, stocks, IRAs are not physical. And if they're not physical, you don't own it. So when the shit hits the fan, okay, give me my 100 ounces. You try to get, if you own any, try to get some out. Go ahead, try to get, I like 10 ounces. You'll never get it. They'll never give it to you because they don't have it. It's a scam. It's a Madoff. So I do not. Those guys are criminals. They should be in jail. They're just like JP Morgan. They're worse because they sell it as physical gold and silver, where at least JP Morgan is selling derivatives. So, those are paper gold. So you've got to understand that. That's why I get mad at Rickards and Rule and Sprout and Schechtman and Shift, because they're lying to you. They're looking at gold will be worth 2,300. There's no price on. There's no free market price on gold and silver now. That's it. I'm giving you a free market price of about 20 to 30,000 an ounce. That's the free market. When you get rid of the derivatives and you get rid of the dilution of the derivatives JP Morgan throws in there. That's what I'm telling you. But I understand that from football, price fixing and all that stuff. That's why I can understand it so well. But most of these guys are idiots. They think the 2000 is the real price. Oh, it'll go to 2300 or 2200. But that's not the real. The 2000 is fantasy. That's not a real price. That's a diluted price with a lot of paper dilution. But if you take all the paper out of it and just leave it to gold, it's 20,000. That's where I'm getting it from. And I know that it's 100% accurate. And the question is, yeah, but this sprout, and it's bad news. I hope you're not in it. If you know anybody in it, get them the fuck out. But you do not own any physical. And if you don't own physical, you're fucked. So the only thing that we as a class can do is you go to the coin store and do what you just did. Here's $2,000, or like I did, here's $8,000. Give me 4 ounces, throw it in the safe. Give me 4 more. Give me another ounce. I don't have much for gold. Give me 20 ounces of silver. And you just keep piling it in the safe, and you'll be fine. And you'll take care of yourself and your family. And I got, the girls I got to take care of because, they're going to need help. I'm not going to let them starve. So that's really what it is. But those are bullshit. ETFs are bullshit. IRAs. If you can't take physical gold, you don't have any. If it's not in your hand, you don't have any. You'll never get it. So you're fucked if you believe that you really have 50 ounces of gold in an ETF. You're fucked. What they're doing is taking the gold price and they're valuing it. But this is worse than Madoff. Madoff, you knew you'd give him 20 grand, but you didn't know how he made you money, but he gave you money every month. But he didn't give you gold or silver, and he was too stupid to buy gold or silver. With all the money he had, he should have bought gold and silver. But because he didn't, but you knew it was a Ponzi scheme, because you would say, where are you making the money? And he wouldn't answer. Well, doesn't that sound like Fort Knox? Well, show me the 8,100 tons of gold. We can't show you. Okay, Madoff, show me how you make your money. I can't. If you got to ask me the question, I'm not going to show you. Well, Professor, show me your Mantle card. I just showed it to you. The last show. Show me your gold. I showed it to you. I can back up my speaking. That means I'm real, and they can't back it up. So that's the problem. Like, everybody's being made off right now by the banks, but nobody knows. Nobody's trained in it. Nobody's educated in it. So they don't have a clue that their money in their bank's fucked. So that's what I'm here for. Do we have to pay taxes on the gains? On the gold? I think it depends on the value, and it depends on where. You might have to, but if you pay $2,000, it's worth 50. It's not a big tax, but some places can 1099 you. But if we go to Switzerland or Amsterdam or somewhere like that, or Portugal, you might not. We will find places that won't tax you. But if you do, it's far less. If you bought it for $2,000 and it's worth 50, and you made 48 grand and you paid $2,000 in tax, I think that's fine. But it would be more of a 1099 capital gain, which again, I don't know why it is. Are you getting the offset when the dollar goes down in value? Can you use that as a gambling loss against a gambling gain? So wait, I lost 50,000 on the value of my dollar. Oh, well, you can't do that. Oh, okay. So that's really the problem. You must understand that I wouldn't be concerned with. and from what I'm understanding, I don't know. It's so confusing. I look it up, and it's like once you read it, it says no Eagles. There's no tax. If you bought American Gold, there's no tax. There's no 1099. Then if you bought Maple Leafs, there's no tax. If you bought half ounces and quarter ounces, there's no tax. It's a certain amount. So if silver's 2,000 an ounce, then sell 4 ounces back, 8,000. There's no tax. It's only over 10. But I can't get heads or tails. It's like CBDCs. What the fuck is it? How does it work? Nobody can tell you. And then they try to scare you by the government control you, which how the fuck are they going to control me? You can't drive to the Kroger's 5 miles away. What, are you out of your mind? I might not be able to use the money at the Kroger's 5 miles away, but I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive to my club and go swimming, which is 5 miles or 10 miles away. I'm going to drive down to the casino. You think the casino is going to close because it's a half hour away in Detroit? You think they're going to close because CBDCs? Fuck no. See, that's where my argument is. You think Coke and Pepsi are going to go out because of CBDCs? I don't think so. So all these big companies are going to be fine. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Nothing makes sense with the CBDCs. Let's put it that way. Anyway, I think we lost Bobby. He must be sleeping. So I will be on Thursday. So I talked earlier about pro football, the preseason, the quarterback, mostly the quarterbacks. Then we see Dalvin Cook is now on the Jets, and Ezekiel Elliott, I think, is signed by New England. And then I don't know where Henry is. But I was looking at, like, Russell Wilson played, Mahomes played the first preseason game. And then half these guys that Tua and Hurts, all these guys that need work didn't play. So it's like these coaches will be fired. These coaches will win. So that's why Sean Payton wins. That's why Andrew Reid wins, because he's smart enough to get playing time for his players in preseason. And if you worry about injuries, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get fucked. Anyway, so Thursday, we'll see what happens. BRICS is next week, I think 24th, 22nd, 24th, something like that. It's a 3-day event. I think it's the 22nd or the 24th, so it'll be Tuesday to Thursday or Wednesday to Friday or something in Johannesburg. Putin can't go because the Americans will arrest him for war crimes or something, but the other guys will be there, and Russia's guaranteed that they will talk about the gold-backed currency. Don't worry about it. They all want to get out of the dollar, so it's a sure thing. Well, you're welcome, Luke. I enjoy it. I want nothing more than my class with gold and silver. And when the shit hits the fan, we're all protected and and safe. That's about all I can do. When you have the knowledge, it's like taking care of my girls. Here's a couple ounces of gold and silver to protect you, right? That's all I can do. So I'm trying to help, because I see so much ignorance in the world, and it's not people's fault that they don't know about gold and silver. It's not taught. I blame the government and the schools for really not teaching it, so nobody knows unless you pull out an Adam Smith book, which is a kind of a big book, although this is his Wealth of Nations, but there is videos which I show you on YouTube. There's 2 Adam Smith videos, but do you know to watch them? And some of those, so you'll have to know they're out there and you have to watch them, but you learn a lot from them. And basically, I just learned this in my master's, and it was like no other program, because when my undergrad, I had Keynesian economics. I didn't know what the fuck. I sat there and I didn't have a clue what was being taught to me. I couldn't follow it. It was all a bunch of gibberish. And elastic, inelastic, and net prevent. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Then I get into Austrian economics, and everything made perfect sense to me. So, as you notice, I never put a chart up. I never put a graph. I never say this is what happened in 2008 or 2000 or 1929. It's all meaningless. Charts, too many variables. It's like I tell Dick, he wanted to try to formula a math formula for football. I go, you can't do it. Too many variables. You just got to understand what to look for and plug it in, like the Georgia defense. You got to understand that, and that's how you bet. You bet them under. You can't formula it. You can't formula the stock market. You can't formula inflation. It is, basically you just have to see what's going on and you have to understand it. And that's about it. So with that, I will see you Thursday at about this time, 7:38. And then on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we'll talk more football on Saturday and Sunday. And I'm basically looking at, so I'm watching what's going on in BRICS and everything. Looks like Russia's going to win the war, but the U.S. is not letting it end. So, because they don't want to say they're wrong. So this is just bullshit. Anyway, that's about it. So www.teaserking.com is my website with the football picks. And then we'll come here with the gold and silver. You can get my email and ask me from Teaser King, my email, and we can talk on email or even WhatsApp. Most of my girls are on WhatsApp. We can do that. But anyway, so right now it's like 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, after work, and then Saturday, Sunday. I don't work on the weekends. Well, I work football. So that's like 11:30. I think I was on the weekends. Anyway, have a good night. It's 12 o'clock. I got to get to sleep. I got to get up. God's given me enough to be able to analyze. Let's put it that way. My hard work has given me the wisdom, but God's given me the how to think, how to take the data and make sense with it. So I'm very good at that. All right. So I will see you Thursday at about 7:30, 8 o'clock. All right. Have a nice day. If anything comes up, I could pop on tomorrow and put something on. But normally, like I said, it's just all bullshit. Just inflation's not down. The economy's in a recession. And you're fucked holding the dollar. Got to get out of the dollar. It's fucked. It's going to zero. You can't have $33 trillion in debt and think you're okay. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. All right. Have a good night. I got to go to sleep. www.teaserking.com. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed. And please feel free to ask questions and comments. All right.